would. Come on by, have some fun. We've got a loaded show for you. We're about to go with Brian Flores' press conference any minute now. We'll carry that for you, and we'll hear his thoughts on what's the over and under on Kaepernick questions today for Brian Flores. How many Kaepernick questions are there going to be?
I would say the number for Vegas would be probably 3.5.
Yes.
Because you know how they want the money to move, and they had 4 questions yesterday. So what do you think? Vegas would throw it out there?
I'm just wondering.
3.5.
I'm just wondering what else do you follow up with at this point? You know what I mean?
Did you see the list of 7 teams
Yes.
that are going?
Yes.
Ever so conveniently, all of them were quarterback issues. Quarterback question.
Yeah.
Minus Arizona, and like you
Well,
said
they don't
before,
have a quarterback, or Dallas.
Yeah.
Neither one has a quarterback issue.
Right, but those two, everybody else, like an automatic. You got to be involved. You got to make it look good.
I think it's just more PR crap than anything else that's going on with it. So we will have Brian Flores for you.
Do you
in
think
just
the league?
a couple
Do
minutes.
you think the league maybe said like, "Hey, you guys need quarterbacks. You need to be there for us. You need to make."
I don't know. Keep an eye on there. Make sure we have Flores coming up right when he pops up here, and we're ready to go with Brian Flores. So we got a bunch of things to talk about today. Good thing is we've got the Heat in action tonight. The Panthers are back in action after that monster win against the Bruins. I'm still amazed that they were able to pull off that victory against the Bruins. I thought that was absolutely phenomenal to be able to pull that one off. I couldn't believe that they actually pulled that one off, to be honest with you. That was, I mean, when you're down 4-0 against that team, you think it's over. So tonight they're taking on the Winnipeg Jets at the BB&T Center, a winnable game. Let's see if they can get it done tonight. And let's not fall behind. The question is, what I want to find out is who's starting in goal. Because, yes, Min in the third period was hot and was terrific in the shootout. If you give the youngster tonight a start, is that a shot at Bob at this early in the season? Because it won't look good for Bob that in the second month they're already like choosing the young guy. Not that there's a goalie controversy, but do you go with what's smoking right now, what's hot? And Monty obviously is hot. I'm not able to pull anything up here. You got the Twitter feed going on and everything and refreshing there, because I don't see anything here. I don't know what's going on with the internet connection here, but right now I'm not getting anything whatsoever.
I got to be honest with you. I went to guest, okay, just regular guest, and that's what I'm working off of. It's flowing.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, on my end, it's not flowing. Not like it should, at least. That's what I would tell you. I need it to flow a little better than what it's flowing right now. It is not flowing at all at this point because I'm trying to pull stuff up and I can't pull it up.
Call a plumber there, buddy.
And that's not good for me. I'd rather if I can't have internet connection, how am I going to stay in contact with you guys and everything else going on? You know what I mean? That's the part is we got to fix that. I got to look into that here because there's no way I can continue doing it like this if I can't even, be in contact with everything going on. I can't even pull up the YouTube channel. I don't even know if we're broadcasting. I have no idea. I know we're going to podcast it, so it doesn't matter to me in a way, but, so, all right, we will get you Brian Flores in just a few minutes, and we'll get that part going for you, and we'll see what the coach has to say. There's a bunch of things I want to get into, but I don't want to get into it yet because I've got the press conference and I can't get into a flow of talking about anything because I've got a press conference that's supposedly going to take place in 6 minutes at 11:10 with Brian Flores. Heat and the Cavs tonight at 6 o'clock. Miami is 7-3. Oh, so we are? Yeah. Okay.
That would be you and me, man.
Yeah, okay.
So we are live.
Okay. All right. Well, at least it's working on the outside. At least we're sending the signal out. But inside, we're obviously having some serious issues.
And actually, you look pretty good with the banner in the back, man. You know, looking, with the AC/DC shirt and everything.
300 Bs with the banner. It gives it a nice full look overall. I was actually trying to send a video just a little bit ago on Twitter. I just couldn't pull certain things up on the phone because the internet was not working, man. Not working for us personally. So we gotta find a way of making it work in a more faster.
Thank you, Nico. He just sent a message. Hey, you guys are broadcasting on YouTube.
Okay, good. At least we're broadcasting on YouTube. That's good. We can't see that we're broadcasting on YouTube, so I'm glad that you guys can actually tell us. He was able to get it on the phone.
Good for the look out there, guys.
Yeah, because I can't even nothing. I'm getting nothing here, which is terrible, by the way. So unacceptable.
No. We got to get you up and running so that you can keep in contact with our people.
Yes, no, definitely. I got to get that in contact. And
you know what? Let me get Flores going. You got to listen to it so you can make the comments at the end, and I'll go get somebody. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's get Flores up.
Yeah, get the talk with Steve or Herbie. Steve's back there. There's Steve back there. Ask him about the internet. Yeah, go talk to him. We'll handle that. Anyway, so we'll take care of that. We'll get Flores on for you. That way we get everything, because you got to have the internet in order to connect. And somehow or another, the good thing is, at least because we got the Ethernet line, we're able to broadcast out to you guys, and obviously we'll be able to podcast all of this. I got Disney Plus last night. I was watching the Mandalorian. That was awesome last night. I really enjoyed it. I want to get into a little bit of that. Obviously want to talk a little bit about the Heat tonight as they take on the Cavs. Dolphins, I've got a couple things I want to get into also. Actually, several topics that I want to get into with the Dolphins. Panthers are back in action tonight. We got Thursday night football, Steelers and Browns. Obviously, the return of Minkah to our lives, not to here, but to our lives, because obviously he'll be see if Brian is on yet, but he'll be front and center, obviously, a front and center story, because their season kind of has turned around since they added him, and he's obviously played incredible. So you're going to hear all the stories and the impact that Minkah has made overall for this team. And then the question is for the Browns too. I mean, where are you, as a franchise? And you got to start picking up victories like this one. And the Browns story is kind of weird, because I'll give you a twisted look for me, because I'm a Dolphins fan, obviously. But I really wanted them to have success this year, because I can kind of relate to Browns fans. We can't completely relate because they've been losing for half a century, so that's a long time. But the last 20 years has kind of given me the taste of what it's like to be a Browns fan. And then they added all that talent, and I do like Baker's moxie. Even though I didn't believe in him as a number one pick, I didn't think he deserved to be the number one overall pick. I would have picked him late first round, second. That's what I said when it was draft time, because I just didn't believe in him as a number one overall guy. And so far, last year I was proven wrong, and this year maybe I was proven right. I don't know. We'll find out. But I really wanted to see that team succeed, because not so much for Odell's a jerk and Jarvis Landry's an idiot at times and Baker Mayfield can run his mouth, but more for the Browns fans, because they've suffered so long. They lost their team for no reason at all when the owner took it to Baltimore, all that stuff. Do we have them?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go to Brian Flores in Davie. No, maybe not. Okay.
I think we just keep giving it to him. and I think it'll turn. He's a good player.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
He's
The
shown
IT guy is on the
way.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
And
you can take that off and get my mic on. Unfortunately,
IT guy is on the way. When we got it, we'll get it.
Well, when they restart the internet, and then maybe we'll be able to use the internet in here. We'll be able to then broadcast that video for you. So we'll replay that video in a little bit for you, and then we'll replay it in its entirety. Well, look, I can see. That's us. That's what it is. Not the broadcast. That's what it is.
Well, that's off the ether.
Yeah.
So we got the best connection for the camera.
Yeah,
but
we're fine.
Everything else is hit and a miss. Okay.
Yeah.
But Steve assured me the IT guy is on the way, so we will get this straightened out.
Yeah. All right. So we'll do that, and then we can't play the press conference for you, unfortunately. At noon, my buddy Brian Batko, who covers the Steelers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, is going to join us. He's working tonight since the Steelers are working tonight. So we'll get his thoughts on everything going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. At 1 o'clock, Paul McDonough, Inter Miami sporting director, new players, news on the starting date. We got all kinds of things to talk to Paul McDonough from Inter Miami with. My buddy Calvin Watkins, who covers the Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News, is going to stop by at 1:30, so we'll have a little fun with him. And former Dolphin great Richmond Webb. I saw him the other night at Bo Campers for a Dolphin event, and we're going to have Richmond on at 2 o'clock to talk a little Miami Dolphins, too, with him. So we got a loaded show for you today here at Toyota of Hollywood, and we'll be out here till 3 o'clock having some fun. And like I told you with the Browns, it was, for me, I know my Dolphins weren't going anywhere, right? So I looked at the Browns and I said, I'd like to see them have success. Those fans deserve a couple of good moments. You know what I mean? And they have not had those moments for a long, long time. And the problem that's been with that franchise, and I think it's turned a lot of us off in general. Let me talk about something in general. We have wasted more airtime and talk time on the Browns for many years now. It's not just this year. It's happened several times that they draft a person or they get this guy or that guy, and then they get all this hype, and they never live up to it. And I feel bad for the fans because it's really not the fans' fault. It's been that ownership is obviously wacky, and they don't get the right people in the front office or coaching to ever get it done, and that's why they never get over the hump, unfortunately. And that's when you look at that whole situation, you feel bad for. It's like a Bengals fan. I feel bad for Bengals fans because they're stuck with Mike Brown. Think about that. That was like me with Jeffrey Loria. I was so anti-Jeffrey Loria. It's not that I was going to be rooting for other teams or anything like that, but I hated Jeffrey Loria. I mean, the guy, I despised him because I knew he was never trying to win. And he was just stealing money. And sure enough, that's exactly what ended up happening. Sold the team for $1 billion, and he's laughing at everybody in Miami-Dade County for being stupid enough to build a stadium and give him all that help there. You know, and to me, that's where I feel bad for some fan bases, because over the the way I grew up, I couldn't relate to that. I couldn't relate to the Cardinals and the Bengals and the Browns. I couldn't. Jets being as sorry as they've been, couldn't relate to it. I had Shula. You never relate to that kind of stuff with Shula. Yeah, you had a bad season every once in a blue moon, and you knew it was once in a blue moon. You knew it was an aberration. You knew he would be in double-digit wins the following season. You had that kind of incredible confidence, you know? and that's where I would tell you that I kind of had some sympathy for the Browns and their fans, and I wanted them to have success this year. And obviously, it's fallen apart. They haven't been able to get it done, and tonight they're front and center. And Freddie Kitchens is obviously on the hot seat. He looks like he's completely overmatched, but that's because you elevated a guy that was a position coach, barely a coordinator, and you elevated him to a head coach. That, that's that is irresponsible. And again, it shows you why you're a bad franchise, because you don't do your homework. And that's been a problem for that franchise for a long, long time. And we know what it's like, because we've gone through some pretty bad times now the last 20 years. And we now have a taste of what it's like to be a Browns fan or a Bengals fan or a Jets fan or a Cardinals fan on average. And it sucks. I think we're headed out of that. That's the good thing. That's the part I'm excited about. That I believe they're completely headed out of that with the people that they have right now. Jay on YouTube says, "Good morning. Oh, hopefully he's not coming to Miami." Oh, Kaepernick would never. That's never going to happen. You can forget about that stuff. All those people are. I'm convinced that the people that are going to the Kaepernick workout are going for PR purposes. And they're sending and they're saying it publicly so they can, because remember, there's the player side and then there's the owner side. And just because you're sending somebody, you could just say, well, we have to do our due diligence. We didn't sign him, we weren't interested, but we had to check him out. And that's it. And it's over. And you move on. And that's really what this is all about. Think about. Let me give you some facts here that you have to think about. Okay? Kaepernick is 32 years old. Do you know that? How many athletic quarterbacks are running around at 32 in the NFL? Do you think he's as quick as he was 3 years ago? Because I bet he is. I bet he isn't. He's not. He's certainly not going to be as sharp as he was when he was playing every week 3 years ago. I think we can all agree on that one. But nobody builds on a 32-year-old quarterback, on a 32-year-old athletic quarterback that requires his legs in order to be successful. Remember, he's not a traditional drop-back quarterback. He's a guy that needs his legs in order to create out there. In order to be effective, just like Cam Newton and other guys. Obviously, Lamar Jackson can never do his job without his legs because he's not a pocket passer. You playing drums out there, bro?
I'm just trying to clean up the table.
Okay.
The guy is redoing the Wi-Fi signals, so I explained to him, we need something better than just guest.
All right, you got it. So anyway, we'll when you look at this whole Kaepernick situation, it's a farce, like I told you yesterday. There's nothing to this. There's no substance to any of this. This is all half-assed. And you see the latest thing, Kaepernick's people, right? They are going back and forth with the NFL about providing a list of personnel executives and coaches that are going to attend. First of all, they never do that for any workout. They hold a workout and they tell people, and then whoever wants to go to that workout goes to that workout. They don't announce it or anything like that. So are Kaepernick's people going to use this as a PR machine, pro and con, on who came, who didn't? Is it a requirement for them? Because The NFL teams shouldn't have to do that. Now, the NFL teams that are going public themselves, I think they're doing that for PR purposes. It won't even hurt you with the Kaepernick people, the people that hate Kaepernick. It won't even hurt you for that because you're just saying, well, we sent somebody, we just did our due diligence, but we didn't sign him, we're not interested, we moved on. And that's it. And your Kaepernick hate fan base will then just let it go. Your pro-Kaepernick people will say, well, they gave him a chance, and so they win PR-wise all over. You should, all 32 should send somebody. Just for a PR. You got 400 scouts on every team, except for Mike Brown that only has 2 because he's too cheap. But everybody else has got 400 scouts. You can send any scout you want over there. Hey, go over there and go watch the guy play and then come back tomorrow, file your report, and it's over.
We're about to fire Joe. No. Make Joe go see Kaepernick before we fire him.
Right. That's all. It's not a big deal to send somebody. It actually might be a little bit of a PR question mark for you if you don't send somebody. Now, if you have Drew Brees and you have Russell Wilson and you have Tom Brady and you're those kind of franchises and you say, and you're the Green Bay Packers and you say, well, we didn't want to send somebody because we're fine. What are you going to do? Argue with them? Okay, yeah, I get it. They do have Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, they're probably not planning on making any changes, so why go look at a 32-year-old quarterback that has to rely on his legs? Because that's the thing that people aren't talking about. He's 32. He's 32 and requires his athleticism in order to be an effective quarterback. And at 32 compared to 29, you had to have lost some athleticism. Now, if you don't make a living with your legs, like Tom Brady, like Drew Brees, it doesn't matter if you're 29 or 32, as long as your arm is still fine. Right? That's all that matters. But if you're Colin Kaepernick and you're Lamar Jackson, you're going to rely on your legs. And as you get older, those legs aren't going to be the same. That's the other thing that people don't talk. The NFL puts this half-assed workout in the middle of the season that nobody cares about. And like I told you yesterday, they're not going to do it in the off-season because they don't want the light taken away from the East-West, from the Senior Bowl, from the Combine, from the workouts at every college that's going on. Oklahoma's workout, UM's workout, USC's workout, Texas's workout, all that. That's going on all throughout the offseason. You think they want a Colin Kaepernick mess going on? No. They do it now, like I told you yesterday, because they've got another half season to sweep it right under the rug and forget about it. They weren't born yesterday. That's why they put it together now, and they put up together this quick workout and get rid of it. And then we gave them a workout. We can't control what teams show up, what teams don't. We can't control who wants to sign them and who doesn't. And on the Kaepernick side, here's where, look, you got to understand, you got to compartmentalize all of this, okay? Forget about the cause. The cause is phenomenal. We must fight for the cause. We must fight for equality for all. Okay? Social injustice we got to fight it for all because it happens in the gay community, it happens in the black community, it happens with women. We got to protect all. So I'm good with the cause. I'm not good with the guy. Colin Kaepernick, for me, is not the representative for this. He's the worst. And then you chose lawsuit over your career. You had an opportunity. You could have proven that you wanted to stay being a quarterback, and you could have made. But once Nike's paying you, and you don't have to play football anymore, and now you're working on the lawsuit, and the lawsuit didn't end up being nearly as big as you thought, and they also put the kibosh on you because you couldn't talk about it, which, I mean, you can't brag about your win. Why? Because it wasn't much of a victory? I have very little respect for Colin Kaepernick. The ignorance is just way too much. Whether it's wearing pig socks or the Fidel Castro shirt, I mean, you're going to talk about social injustice and you're going to wear a dictator shirt. And then when you're asked about it, you say positive things about Castro and the regime. Like I said, we got to fight for social injustice for everyone. Okay? And that dude is the wrong person to be leading anything. He's just a poster child. That's all he is. He had a chance. I told you, and I've said this many times, he should have gone to the CFL. Tear up the CFL, play his ass off. He's the one that chose to opt out of that, whatever it was, $14, $15, $16 million contract in San Francisco. Dumbass. And then there was nothing out there for him, and he was dead in the water. And then he chose this lawsuit. Kick ass in Canada, put serious pressure on the NFL because everybody would have seen what he was doing in Canada, and, hey, we need a quarterback because half the league needs a quarterback. So half the fan bases are going to say, go get that guy. What are you doing? He can play. But he chose not to prove himself. He chose a lawsuit. You chose your bed now, dude. Lay in it. You sued a league, and now you're asking them for a job? Come on. How stupid can people be? And look, it's created all the talk that we've had now, yesterday, today, and going forward. And the guy hasn't played a down in the league for 3 years. And he's still not playing. And it's articles everywhere, and now it's news and sports following this whole thing. You know Atlanta's going to be a circus. Flowery Branch or whatever. You know how many people are going to be doing stand-ups outside of Flowery Branch on Saturday? And that's... And here's the other side of it.
It's going to be a circus, man.
And here's the other thing. The NFL, they're really good. I mean, this part is impressive. They can have their players murder people, beat women. They can have coaches doing cocaine. I mean, you think about all the things that have gone on in this league, and nothing slows it down. Nothing brings it down. They can have a dog that was. They can have a player that was electrocuting dogs, and it doesn't hurt one bit. They can have a guy that knocks out his wife in an elevator, then drags her out of the elevator like a sack of potatoes, spits on her also, and women are wearing Ray Rice jerseys. Free Ray Rice. The NFL has football. I'm sorry, because it's college and high school. Football has this control on us. And they are so Teflon. It truly is amazing. Baseball can suffer from steroids, and they can suffer from all kinds, and they'll suffer setbacks. Football can have anything possibly could happen in football. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's never bad enough that it's going to hurt the ratings, that it's going to it's going to kill revenue, that people aren't going to attend anymore, that they're not buying jerseys, that they're not buying tickets, nothing. And they know it. So this Colin Kaepernick thing, they can run this farce right in front of your face. And we're going to overlook it because we are so dead drunk on football that we will do anything as long as we can see our team. It's one of the more twisted things out there. It really is. Think about it. All the crap that's gone on in football, none of it ever hurts the sport. They can blackball a player. Nobody will do anything about it. I mean, listen, he probably deserved to get blackballed in a way. You're suing the league. What business is going to allow you and be nice with you when you're going after them in court and you're trying to embarrass them and you're trying? Just doesn't make any sense. I mean, try to sue somebody and then ask them for a job. I just want to know how that goes. How does that work out for you? All right, let's talk about the official #1 volume Toyota dealership, the finest Toyota dealership in the business, and that's where we're at, Toyota of Hollywood. Come on out here, see Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the great guys and all the amazing women out here that will make it happen for you at Toyota of Hollywood. And right now they've got the ultimate model year changeover event going on right now. Give you an example. 2019 Corolla LE listing at $21,000, $12,775. The 2019 Avalon XSE, it lists at $37,000, $24,775. 0% factory financing available. They've got it all here, man. Over 1,500 Toyotas in stock, and we're a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar right there in Hollywood at the Hard Rock, just a couple blocks south at 1841 North State Road 7. It's Toyota of Hollywood.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender, NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Yes, it is. Live from Toyota of Hollywood.
This is the Big O Show.
Welcome back. Well, that Supra is sweet, man. That is a sharp-looking Supra there. If you want to get in on the program, you can always reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, and that's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Nico is asking me, quick question. Is it possible for you to get Omar Kelly on your podcast? You both have such different views. It would make for great radio, podcast hearing, you two debate. Yeah, no, it would be. I love Omar. He would be fun. He's a friend of mine, but he's paid by QAM, so he's locked in there. I mean, technically I could have him on because I'm really not a station. You know what I mean? And that's probably what's in his thing, that he can't be on a radio station. But just so it won't ruffle feathers, I can't bring him on because he's getting paid by another entity. But it would be, hey, that's been like that with me and him. Jay Ajayi, he gave up on, and I said, no, you can't do that. And Jay Ajayi went on to rush for 1,100 yards. I remember he gave up on Jakeem Grant right away, and I said, no, dude, you can't do that. And Jakeem Grant came through. And he'll be fine, too, now with his struggles early on, and he'll be all right. I'm not worried about Jakeem. But that happens. And I know he and I have different points of view on what's going on with the Dolphins and the coaching staff. But that's the beauty of sports, man. That's how it is. We're gonna see things differently at times. And we're gonna be right, and we're definitely gonna be wrong a whole bunch. So I would love to have him on and have that chat and go back and forth. But those are the do anything about that, but it would be cool. George says, good morning all. Thank you, George. Appreciate you checking in. One guy says Cap XFL. He didn't go to the CFL. I don't know why he would go to the XFL. He should. The XFL would probably love the extra pub that it would get having Kaepernick, and he would be probably the best quarterback of that league. I think, George, you probably sent that in joking around, but I think your idea is sensational, just like I thought he should have gone to the CFL. But I don't know if does he really want to be a quarterback? Because Warren Moon, it wasn't blackballed or anything. He was told in the NFL, nah, dude, you're not good enough. Joe Theismann was told, yeah, you're not good enough. Jeff Garcia was told, yeah, you're not good enough. Doug Flutie was told, yeah, you're not good enough. They all went to the CFL. They weren't blackballed. They were told they weren't good enough. Cam Wake was told, you're not good enough. Mark Dixon was told, you're not good enough. These are people that all went to the CFL. And one of them went to the Hall of Fame after, in Warren Moon. I am right? He is a Hall of Famer, right? He should, well, if he's not, then he should be. But I think Moon is a Hall of Famer. But anyway, my point is, they wanted it. I question whether Cap really wants it. And now you're 32. You've been getting fat off of Nike's money the last couple of years. All you got to do is do some of those appearances for the cause, and that's it. You haven't been you don't show me the burning desire to play football. Tom Brady shows me the burning desire to play football. He's in his mid-40s and still wants to play football. Des Bryant, as delusional as he is, he's trying to work off, what was it, an Achilles injury? Or I think it was, right? And he's telling NFL teams, hey, soon I'll be ready for a workout. Whether he's delusional or not, his desire's there. Where's Kaepernick's desire? His desire was to be in court. His desire was to go after the NFL. His desire was never really to be a quarterback. He chose to be a figurehead. For that guy. None. Your dumbass opted out of that San Fran contract, thinking that you had the world by the you-know-what. And you dropped him, dude. That's your fault. And then you had every opportunity to stick it to the NFL. And you went the other way, and you lost this fight too. Why? Because the NFL's got way more money and better lawyers than you do. Not only did they hand you a check, then they told you, shut up and go to a corner. And if you call that successful, then I don't know. I don't know what you're you're not a very good fighter for the cause. Let's put it that way. You want to fight for that cause? You go and thoroughly embarrass them in public and expose them. You don't allow them to make you sign any confidentiality agreement. That's the problem with all of this. It's the problem with Kaepernick. Poor leadership, man. Because he never should have been a leader for this cause. One, he wasn't even educated enough for it. That's why you wear a dictator's shirt and you're talking about social injustice. Dude, what kind of a moron are you? No sympathy here you're ever. And never proved to me that he really wanted to be a quarterback. So as much as the NFL is doing this for show and say, okay, here's your workout, I got to say, too, that maybe Kaepernick and his people are doing this also for show and not really for substance. Because when you're getting to the extreme of, well, why don't we have a list of the teams that are showing up? They don't do that. That's not done for any of those workouts. They tell them about the workout, and then they send somebody if they want to or they don't. Hey, they're having a workout in South Dakota for the northwest quadrant of the country at South Dakota State. There's going to be, from different schools, they're all going to be there. You send a person if you want to or you don't. It's up to you. This guy's having a workout, that guy's having a workout. You send somebody if you want to. You don't have to make a list and then turn it into them. Kaepernick wants the treatment that nobody gets. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't deserve. What's he earned? He's a 32-year-old quarterback at this point. And remember, 32, when I say that, just in case you're just tuning in, when I say 32, I mean 32 in athletic. Not 32 and you're a pocket passer. Doesn't matter at 32. It matters when you do have to use your legs. Who's going to build on that? And like I told you yesterday, there's only a couple of spots he could possibly go to. Only a couple that have and carry the philosophy needed in order to run an offense for him, because he cannot run any offense. He is not a traditional quarterback and can't be a traditional quarterback because that's not his game. So that eliminates 90% of the teams in the league. Maybe 80, whatever. I'm just saying it. To me, this whole thing just stinks on every side of it. And if you want to criticize the NFL or you want to criticize Cap and his people, go for it. They all deserve it. Because there's not one person there, there's not one side here that is, I would say, being totally honest. Because I don't even really believe that Kaepernick is dying to be a quarterback again. I think this is just all for show. This is just another way to get the in and keep going with everything else and just keep it rolling. Since they couldn't do anything else in court. And they got shut down. Right, here's your check. Go stand in the corner. And don't show to anybody. Can't talk about it. Can't do anything. Can't brag about it. That's not what you fight for, man. You fight to expose. And obviously he didn't have either good enough people, the balls, the intelligence, whatever it is. But he has, the way he has handled all of this couldn't be more wrong. Drew Bowes says, hey, did you see reporter from Sun Sentinel get jacked up by Coach Flo? What you laughing for? Damn. No, I did not. I did not. Who what was it? A Sun Sentinel reporter got called out by Flo? I got to hear that. We definitely got to hear that. I don't know. We'll see if we can pull it up for you and see if we can get that going for you. That would be pretty cool if it happened in the press conference. I'd like to see that. And you said Sun Sentinel. Was that my boy Omar Kelly that got jacked up? Is that true? You guys are gonna have to fill me in on this. I need to know about this. This is funny if that's the case. I'm gonna pull up the Dolphins Twitter to see if there's anything there on it. That is funny. Strange ending of Brian Flores presser today. Asks a reporter if something's funny. Get explanation from reporter replies, and that's funny, and walks away. Okay? All right? I don't know if that's I don't know what that was. I'm trying to look at the Twitter feed here and see if there's anything good on it here from it. Hey, Bill, why don't we see if it'll run now, because it looks like there's been some pretty good flow on the internet. See if the press conference for Brian Flores will run.
Okay, last time I did it, it ran for 3 or 4. We'll give it a whirly
I
twirly.
get it. I get that. Just try it. See if it, because it's flowing on mine here now. I don't know if that's, good or bad or what.
He's done a good job in practice. It hasn't.
Is that from the beginning?
Materialized in games, but I think we just keep giving it to him, and I think it'll turn. He's a good player. He's shown that through practice, and again, we got a lot of confidence in him. So we'll just keep feeding him, and I think he'll break through at some point.
There we go.
How do you work with a back in terms of visions and finding holes and maximizing each carry?
You get it in practice. You watch it on the tape, and you go through it. And it's not just one person. All right, so getting in sync with the offensive line and knowing the defensive tackle who's a good player who's going to get a little bit of penetration, and you can almost anticipate some of that. But it's O-line, it's fullback, it's receivers blocking. It's not just one person. I think in a lot of instances, he's the one who ends up with the stat, but it's a team statistic. So, and just like every other statistic. So, to put it on one person, I think I know that's what ultimately happens. And that's part of being in the NFL. But at the end of the day, it's there's a lot more people involved.
I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Was a turning point. What has this team learned since that 98-yard drive, and how have they gotten better since then?
Since that one drive?
Yeah, since that. That was a key moment in that game, obviously, and you played.
We gotta. And those, those are. Look, you never know what play it's going to be. So every play counts, and that's something we talk about really on a day in, day out basis. So, again, you mentioned the drive. I don't know how many plays there were in that one. I know there were a lot, but there were a few plays in that drive where if we played it a little bit better, or if we had a little bit better communication, or if we made a tackle, or whatever it is on that particular drive. And you could say that for that one particular drive, but there's been some others in the season where, again, a handful of plays and to 3 and out, or an interception, or a fumble. So every play counts. And that's something that we've preached all year. And look, there's ebbs and flows in every game. So we talk about one particular play. To me, that wasn't, or it's never just one play. Really, until you come down to the very bitter end. There's always a series of plays you never know which one is the one that's going to turn the game, turn the momentum of a game, and be the one play that turns the tide.
The players obviously playing better. Do you think scheme-wise you guys are doing smarter things as the season goes on?
I think we always try to put the guys in best positions to play well. I think that's always the case. I think, as the season progresses, I think every team has a better understanding, feel for the players, what they do well, what they don't do well, who plays well together, who communicates well, what groupings fit best, what, O-line, D-line, nickel group, little dime, ends, what common, there's 11 guys on the field, so there's a few different combinations you can have, so, and situationally, those combinations change, so I think we have a better feel as a staff of what groupings we feel give us the best chance, and we try to put those out there. And sometimes, we try to put the best group out there. This doesn't always work out because it's football, and the other team, they have good players and they make plays. And I'm thinking of a couple. Indy made some plays last week, and the Jets the week before. Every week somebody makes. You're in a good defense. You're in the right call. You feel good about it. And they make a play, and everyone thinks it's we can't coach. So it happens every week to every team.
Follow up on that. What's the most encouraging thing that you have found out about the coaching staff you put together from the time you did that to right now?
These guys. This staff does a really good job communicating with one another, with the players. And we work well together. From the kicking game, the kicking game with Danny Crossman and B. Farrell, and there's some of our quality control coaches kind of working in concert with Danny and the kicking game. Offensively, Chad leads the way from that standpoint. But Chad to Eric Studesville to Carl to the whole staff, they do a really good job, and then Pat and Josh and TL, I think we got a good staff, and they work well with the players, they work well with one another, and there's a cohesiveness that you need on a coaching staff, and then hopefully and that kind of the team reflects that, and I think these guys have done an okay job from that standpoint, and we just keep working at it.
Ryan Fitzpatrick talked yesterday about how the confidence is higher in the locker room just walking through, which makes more sense after the back-to-back victories. But my question to you is that something tangible? Is that something that you can feel just being around the guys, that the confidence is higher now?
I think anytime you win, that's a confidence builder. So, yeah. But at the same time, I've said this before, it's when you deal with adversity or mental toughness, my opinion is, one, how you deal with failure, and then two, how you deal with success. So I think we've had a little bit of it. I don't think there's any reason to I think, guys, given where we were earlier in the year, I think, there's definitely a little bit of confidence, but I think there's also an understanding that things can go right back to the way they were, and if we don't work at it and we just spend a little less time because we were a little less time of preparation, a little less time, or a little less urgency and commitment in a walkthrough or a practice or a meeting, that's the difference. How many plays in this league are, a tackle, a shoestring tackle, or there's a difference between a 60-yard run and a 6-yard run, or a toe clip is the difference between a sack and a 60-yard pass. That's the difference. And hopefully we don't lose that, from a preparation standpoint, because, we're excited about, what happened last week. We need to forget about last week.
I'm sorry, Dan. When you talk about confidence and things like that. Where do you see that on the field and off the field? I mean, are guys paying attention more in meetings? Are they smiling more? Are they executing their plays on the field more because of that confidence?
Look, this is a tough opponent. So, you know, when I see Josh Allen running around on film, you know, I'm confident in our guys, but I know this is a tough challenge. So, you know, whether it's Allen or Gore or Singletary or John Brown, you know, that offensive line, defensively, they got guys everywhere. I mean, yeah, I have confidence in this team, but I also know, and I'd be, you know, I know that, you know, this is the National Football League and every game's tough, and, you know, they're going to come in here and, you know, try to knock our heads off, and you know, we have to be ready for that. So, yeah, confidence, you know, I don't know how to really explain it, but, you know, I moved on from that. We're on to Buffalo, and this is going to be a tough physical game, and we have to be ready for that. And, you know, more than anything, you know, we got to be ready for a tough physical game.
Speaking of preparation, when you face a more mobile quarterback like Josh this week or other guys, how does that impact your game plan? Does it make it more stressful, less stressful, same as more stationary?
Yeah, it's stressful. Yeah. You know, definitely stressful. You know, when you have a guy, you put together a game plan where you think you got everybody covered, or, you know, this is a good pressure, or this is a good coverage, or, you know, whatever we're going to do defensively. You got everybody covered. He breaks a tackle and it's 50 yards. Yeah, that makes you uncomfortable. So we've got to do a good job with our technique, our fundamentals, but at the same time, there's keys to the game that we need to really address, focus on. Obviously, you know, we know, the whole league knows that, you know, Josh Allen's a very mobile guy and can turn a game with his legs. So, you know, and you know what? Tackle and makes a big run, and we got to do a good job from that standpoint.
Ryan, as you through 9 games, can you form a conclusion yet as to whether you think Jesse Davis is a good starting right tackle in the league, or do you need to see full body of work to form that conclusion?
Well, I mean, look, this is a production business, and, you know, as you guys know, you're only as good as your last game. So, but with that said, I think Jesse's done a very, very good job, and I think wherever you put him, he's going to be productive and play well. So right tackle, right guard, left tackle, I think he's going to go out there and give us his best effort. He's going to play hard. He's going to play physical. He's going to be tough. And you know, I like having Jesse on this team, and I feel confident. I'm very confident in his ability.
We know what Needham did to get to this point and to have success in the last 2 games. How does a young player like that continue the forward progress?
You forget about everything you've done. You forget about the last couple games, or you forget about any success you had. And, you know, I know he's getting, you know, I mean, I don't know much about social media, but people are saying he's, you know, this or that, or, you know, and yeah, you know, your friends, your family, they're going to congratulate you. That's great. But you, again, you know, you start listening to all that too much, and there's just, I don't know, maybe it's 1 minute less on one more text and 1 minute less on film. So, you know, you got to try to put that away and focus on the task at hand, which is preparing for Buffalo and the receivers they have and our scheme, and trying to get that right so that we can string them together, because the world will make you think that, you know, you're this superstar, and maybe you are, but it doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is the guys in that room, in that locker room, I should say. And that's funny to you, Safid? Is it? Why?
I don't know. We asked about Shaq Calhoun a couple weeks ago. I mean, we didn't ask about Shaq Calhoun a couple weeks ago. He came up unsolicited. And so it's nice to hear, you know, you want your players to kind of keep an even head about everything.
That's funny?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it? Okay.
I didn't pick up on that. We got to get that exchange again between him and Safid, and we'll do that after Brian Batko. We got to get that exchange. I didn't really pick up on what he was talking about because there was kind of mumbling in the background. See if we can raise it up a little bit and understand, because
I'll have to drop it in one of the editors, and I'll bring up the sound. And we'll see what we get out of it.
Obviously, the coach was not happy about Safid smiling or laughing about something, and then he didn't find it funny either. All right, so we'll address that. Brian Batko, the Steelers writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Steelers are in action tonight, taking on the Browns. Brian is next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. $775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We are back. We're going to start off hour number 2 here on the program, and I promised you my buddy Brian Batko will be kind enough to join us. He is covering the Steelers now for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and you can follow him on Twitter like I and so many others do at Brian Batko. Brian is ready to go. Good afternoon, Brian. How you doing, my man?
Doing great. Just getting ready in about an hour or so here to head up to lovely Cleveland for Steelers-Browns on Thursday Night Football.
Oh, that's right. This is one of those games, Brian, you could just like get in your car and take a short drive, right? It's, well, not a short drive, but it's, how far is it? Like 2 hours, right?
About 2 hours from Pittsburgh, yeah. So me and a couple other guys from the Post-Gazette will hop in the buggy and we'll head up there to Cleveland.
That's like somebody doing, I don't know, Melbourne. 2 hours, because it's not even Tampa. Tampa's 4 hours. That's even farther.
Yeah, even the Steelers take a bus from Pittsburgh to Cleveland. So.
Really? They don't even. Yeah, they don't even have to fly. Wow, that's great. Yeah, but dude, after the game, you got to sit in a bus for 2 hours. That's a pain in the ass. Ugh.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to stay over another night. They got there yesterday, so it's not exactly like they're grinding away. I mean, I'm sure they're whatever bus they're taking from Pittsburgh to Cleveland is a lap of luxury that neither you nor I ever get to experience. But yeah, it's just a short jaunt from Pittsburgh to Cleveland.
Yeah, that experience you and I will never definitely have. That's for sure. All right, Brian, what's been the turnaround, brother? Because down here in Miami, we were just hoping the losses would pile up, so the pick would be nice and high. But at this point, at 5-4, they're screwing up that first round pick for the Dolphins.
Yeah, the turnaround's been the defense, no doubt. I mean, they didn't go on a tear as soon as they traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, but he's just been showing up more and more while they've been on this 4-game win streak. And the schedule has helped too, don't get me wrong. I mean, their wins this year are against Cincy, Miami, Indianapolis, the LA Rams, and the Chargers. So, I mean, it's not like they beat a murderer's row of teams, but really this defense has come together, and they're making splash plays all over the place, from Minkah in the back end to Cam Hayward to TJ Watt, who might be a dark horse defensive player of the year candidate. They're doing the heavy lifting for this team right now, and Mason Rudolph in his first season starting is at least doing enough to not lose them these games.
Dude, how screwed up is it that a year later we're saying that the Chargers win and the Rams win is nothing? You win those games last year, and those are monster wins. Now it's like, okay, they've played like crap. It's really trippy how things change from one year to another. You could be a hell of a team one year, and then you're considered absolute garbage the next.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd go that far. I still think they're probably the team's 2 best wins, especially when you consider, remember, that Chargers game. I mean, they went out there to L.A. and won with Devlin Duck Hodges under center because Mason Rudolph was recovering from a concussion. So that was a very impressive win, and maybe you could even say that's kind of what sparked this run for the Steelers. They do it with essentially their 4th-string quarterback at the beginning of the season. Then they get Mason Rudolph back in the fold, and he's been a little bit of a game manager, but hey, as long as he's taking care of the ball and at least doing enough here and there to put some points on the board, that's really all this Steelers defense needs right now.
Yeah, well, that's been the amazing part, is that defense all of a sudden started playing really, really well, where they were very questionable as of the last couple of years. It wasn't really that Steelers defense that we've all seen for many years and feared, like the Ravens, that physical presence. We weren't seeing that from the Steelers. And now they're starting to get back to that, right?
For sure. I mean, even go back to week 1 of this season, Sunday Night Football up at New England in Foxborough. They go in there shredded by Tom Brady and company. It was 33-3. Now, they were dealing with some injuries in that game, and obviously 2 weeks later they make the trade to bring in Minkah Fitzpatrick. But, I mean, even week 2, they give up 28 points to Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. Week 3, I mean, they got 4 or 5 takeaways, but they still lose to the 49ers. So, I mean, it's been a really weird year around here for the Steelers. I mean, obviously, they've never had a season where Ben Roethlisberger goes down for as early and for as long as he did. And they're all still kind of trying to figure it out, I think. But it's clear that they have an identity now. It's ride the defense. Just do enough that, you know, you're going to be able to rely on your defense. I mean, I would have never thought they were going to beat the Rams 17-12, and yet with defensive touchdowns for both teams, that's how that game played out Sunday at Heinz Field. It's going to be maybe tougher sledding up there in the dog pound tonight at Cleveland, but there's not a whole lot of holes in the Steelers defense.
And also this has also given them an opportunity to look at Mason Rudolph, and it looks like they're going to still have to go search for the future, I would imagine, right?
Possibly. I mean, I still think Ben Roethlisberger is going to come back next year and obviously be the starter as long as everything goes okay with his rehabilitation. But I don't know that I'm judging Mason Rudolph just yet. I mean, you got to remember that he is a second-year guy, yes, but was inactive every game last season, was never even supposed to be really thrown into the fire like that this season. And I think a lot of the numbers for him, while not spectacular, he's kind of doing what's asked of him from offensive coordinator Randy Fichtner. I mean, against the Bengals, it was really all dink and dunk to get their first win of the season. A couple of weeks ago against the Colts, it was 13 receptions by Jalen Samuels out of the backfield. So they've kind of used the short passing game as an extension of a running game that has really struggled. So he doesn't even necessarily have that to help him out, a powerful run game. So I'm kind of in wait-and-see mode on Mason Rudolph. He's hardly proved to be some sort of franchise quarterback or heir apparent in what we've seen from him thus far, but I'm also not writing him off just yet. He was a third-rounder, so I didn't expect him to come in here and start setting the world on fire like a Carson Wentz or someone like that.
Brian Batko, of course, a Steelers beat writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, joining us here on the program. Now, talk to me a little bit about the Kaepernick buzz. Since obviously Ben is getting up there in years, and he's going to come back next year, and I just asked you about the future. How's the Kaepernick subject over there? Because obviously it was asked here in Miami. How are they handling it there in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, it got asked about after Ben Roethlisberger went down, and Mike Tomlin kind of just brushed it off. I don't know one way or the other whether the Steelers are sending anyone to this NFL workout for Kaepernick this weekend. I mean, I can't imagine that a team that has had as much drama and turmoil and distractions off the field as the last few seasons as the Steelers had with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown would readily get back into that business. I think they actually kind of like where their quarterback spot is at right now. I mean, the big caveat there is obviously Ben Roethlisberger's health, and like you said, he's getting up there in age. He's not going to play forever, probably won't even play for as long as Tom Brady has. But everything he's saying sounds like he's kind of itching to get back out there in 2020, and I think they're kind of okay with Mason Rudolph sort of riding as the next guy behind Ben at this point. Their contracts are both going to be up at the same time in a couple years, and then even beyond that, I mean, Devlin Hodges, for being an unknown, undrafted guy out of Stanford, undersized and everything like that, he's 1-0 in the games he's had to start in a pinch in the NFL. So I can't imagine that you'll see a whole lot of buzz connecting Colin Kaepernick and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Brian, you're looking at it like I am, right? This is a joke. The NFL just put this thing together in the middle of the season. I was telling my listeners they won't do it in the offseason because they don't want to take any of the buzz away from the East, West, and the senior and all those personal workouts for all the different schools. They put it in the middle of the season, and they can just wash it away in a week or two, and by the time the regular to me, this is just a big old farce,
that makes
right?
some sense.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I look at it that way, I mean that you could be right on that one, Big O. And it maybe the Steelers will say we've got a Thursday night game. If it makes sense for anyone to get down there to Atlanta and check this thing out, it makes sense for us and the teams that are on bye. So perhaps they'll do their due diligence and you'll see something about them being down there to check it out. But I can't imagine that of the 32 NFL franchises that the Steelers would be even close to one of those most desperate to even kick the tires on this remotely. So, I guess it's an interesting talking point for people around the league and people who do what we do this week. But I think ultimately it's going to be much ado about nothing.
I'm with you on that, but I think the Steelers will send somebody, not because they're interested. I think the NFL's done this for PR, and I think the teams will just, even if they're not interested, they got 400 scouts, except for the Bengals that only pay for 2, but everybody else has got 400 scouts, so they'll send one guy over there to take some notes, and for PR purposes, they'll say, yeah, we sent somebody over there to do our due diligence, but we're not interested. But we sent somebody over there.
Maybe he'll light it up and show that just because he hasn't played in 3 years doesn't mean that he can't help. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of factors that are holding him back from ever being back in this league, but hey, another guy that maybe someday some team will take a chance on the Colin Kaepernick, Antonio Brown connection. How about that?
How about this, Brian? Why don't you go sue Sports Illustrated, then go ask them for a job? Let's see how that works out. Why don't we do that? I mean, think about this.
Yeah,
this is what we're doing.
On that one.
Here's a guy that sued the league and now is asking the same league he sued for a job. How is this going to this is not going to happen, dude. They're not going to do this. Nobody's going to hire this guy. This is all a stinking farce is what it is. This is just for show, and suckers will buy it. But this, and let me tell you, Kaepernick's people too, well, we want a list of people that are going to attend. I don't know if they don't know this, but they don't give a list on any workout. They just say, hey, we're having a workout here, there, whatever, and everybody knows about it, and you show up if you want. They don't tell you ahead of time of who's going to show up. That never happens, actually.
Yeah. So who do you think is more likely? I guess you're thinking Antonio Brown more likely to play again in the league than Kaepernick?
Yeah, next year I think, yeah, that's possible. You know, I've been the one that says Kaepernick should have gone to the CFL years ago. The second the crap hit the fan, he should have gone to the CFL, balled out, and then everybody would have seen that he's balling out. He would have put pressure on the NFL. Fans, half the league needs quarterbacks, so half the fan base would have been crying, go get Kaepernick, go get Kaepernick. And he would have proven to people that he wants to be a quarterback. I got to tell you, Brian, I don't believe he ever has wanted to be a quarterback ever again. I think this is all for show and go because he never tried to go to the CFL. He never tried to really play the game. He sued the league. To expect the league to then hire you is crazy. You're out of it for 3 years. To me, I never saw a commitment that he really wanted to be. Warren Moon wanted to be a quarterback, and the NFL told him, you can't in the Hall of Fame. You know, Jeff Garcia did the same thing. Mark Dixon did the same thing. Cam Wake did the same thing. Doug Flutie did the same thing. Plenty of guys had to go to the CFL to prove themselves. He could have done it too, man.
Hey, maybe AB will try it because I kind of think the same thing about Antonio, that he doesn't necessarily want to play that much anymore. He wants to say, I'm the GOAT. I would have kept putting up numbers and broken every record in the book if people would have given me a chance. And now he'll kind of, use this as a chance to be a martyr and everything like that. So I think the Steelers got out of the AB business at just the right time. And while it's hurting their offense this year, it's one more circus they don't have to deal with.
Only problem is AB will have a problem getting into the CFL because of some of the off-the-field issues. The Canadian Football League may not accept you for that. That you would have to go through a process because of the sexual harassment and all that
I
stuff.
don't think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play anywhere again at this point.
No. All right, so I would imagine Joe Hayden this week was like a kid in a candy store just looking forward to this game.
He was pretty pumped to talk about it a couple of days ago in the locker room. But the thing with Joe Hayden, he popped up on the injury report yesterday. I mean, they only had a walkthrough, but he was on there as a DNP, did not participate with an illness. So I don't know if he was just feeling a little under the weather because it's getting cold here in Pittsburgh. But either way, I'd be surprised if he missed this game. He's a gamer, and while he's played against the Browns before, this matchup has to feel a little bit different this year, given all the hype that surrounded the Brownies coming into this season.
Yeah, dude. And if you're a corner, come on, bro. You're going up against Odell and Landry. This is kind of the game you want to, especially and they're struggling. So they've got like 2 or 3 touchdowns combined between those two guys. They haven't even scored a lot of touchdowns. This is the kind of game you want to go in there and shut them down on national television.
Yeah, Minkah Fitzpatrick has more touchdowns this season than Odell Beckham. So that's never a good sign for the Browns offense. And, hey, Baker Mayfield has served up 12 picks. While he hasn't thrown one in the last 2 games, Steelers secondary has to be licking their chops a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. So let's get into the Minkah talk. How has everything transitioned? Because it seems like it couldn't have gone better, man. I mean, he goes there, he gets to play the spot that he wants to play, and he responds with monster game after monster game.
Yeah, he's been a cure-all in some ways for this defense. I mean, he's got 5 picks already, and that's something that for as many of the good Steelers defenses as they've had over the years, they've always kind of struggled at times to get interceptions. I mean, you have to go back to Troy Polamalu to find someone who's had this many picks in a season for them. So he's catching the ball when it comes his way. He's ball-friendly. He's recovering one and returning it for a touchdown like he did against the Rams. He's been sound in coverage. You never really see him getting beat. And off the field, I mean, he hasn't been anything even close to a bad fit in this locker room. He doesn't have a whole lot to say, and I got to think that Mike Tomlin kind of likes that about him. So it's been great for both sides, obviously. And while things kind of ended bitterly in Miami, he's taken the high road on all of that stuff, and as did Brian Flores when we talked to him ahead of that game a few weeks ago. So a lot of Steelers fans were concerned at the time about the price to get him, giving up a first rounder, but absolutely nobody is concerned with that now.
No, of course not. No, the kid's a hell of a player. They didn't want to trade him. It's just he didn't want to be a part of this rebuild, and he didn't want to, play a different position at the moment that they needed him. It's they're doing the same thing with Bobby McCain. Bobby McCain is a slot guy, and they've got him playing safety. Somehow in this system, Brian, it seems like for now they'd like to have their better cover guys play safety, and they'll take their chances with their boundary guys, and that's why they have a lot of these boundary guys you've never heard of in your life or whatever, and they've actually gotten by with it. I mean, they're on third downs, they're like one of the better defenses in getting off the field, and this is crazy what's happened here in Miami because they've also gotten better since he left. I mean, not a better team without Minkah. That guy's a hell of a player, but it is odd how he wanted no part of the rebuild.
Hey, I've heard of Ryan Lewis. I used to cover Pitt, so I've definitely heard of Ryan Lewis, outside corner for the Miami Dolphins. But yeah, when the Steelers played them a few weeks ago, I had to Google the Nick Needhams and Chris Lamons of the world, and obviously the Steelers receivers were able to feast against them a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty much been anchored down at that free safety spot for the Steelers. I mean, yes, he's in man coverage at times, but even when they go nickel, he's really not coming up into the slot. They've got a couple guys, Mike Hilton and Cam Sutton, who they're comfortable with in that position. So it's going well all around. And, I mean, I get the sense that Brian Flores is obviously going to do things his way there in Miami when you look at that third down cover zero blitz at Heinz Field a couple Monday nights ago. Some people were scratching their head, but to me, that just went to show that, hey, he's got some convictions. He believes in the way he's coaching defensive football. It might not always work, but in the rebuild, like you said, he wants to use a famous Mike Tomlin quote. I guess he wants volunteers, not hostages, huh?
No, hey, listen, I got to tell you something, Brian. He's done a hell of a job, dude. They have no talent on this team. Everyone in the league, including the Bengals, have way more talent than Miami. How he's winning games now, and if you really, you don't watch Miami, most people don't, but if you have watched them the last 4 or 5 weeks, they've been extremely competitive in all the games, and now they're winning the last couple games. To me, this has been just amazing what's gone on, because everybody remembers the first 2 games that they lost by 7,000 points, and they think it's the same team, and it's actually not the same team. This guy has actually turned them into a half-decent football team, and they've got a whole bunch of nobodies, and they may end up winning 4 or 5 games this year. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it seems like it's been pretty impressive that he's been able to not lose that locker room and just completely bottom out. But, I mean, you got to think, coming from the Bill Belichick tree, that's just not really in his DNA. Like, I look at the Bengals, those guys may very well go 0-16. With a young coach, Zach Taylor probably wasn't prepared for this whole thing. I don't know that anyone around there cares or expects them to win a game, so that they could easily just put up an offer. But, yeah, it seems like guys like Brian Flores and even to an extent Cliff Kingsbury probably has a chip on his shoulder out in Arizona, and the Steelers are going to still, the schedule gets weaker and weaker for them the rest of the way. I mean, I'm not saying that tonight's going to be an easy game up in Cleveland, but after that, they go to Cincinnati. Then they've got the Browns at home. A little later, they've got the Cardinals, Jets, Bills, and Ravens. The Ravens game is the only one on that slate that I feel like is going to be tough sledding Week 17.
Yeah, that one's going to be tough, obviously. Brian Batko,
even the Bills are at home.
Yeah, and that kid can't pass. I'm sorry, man. He's
never, I'm not a big Josh Allen guy.
Yeah, he's never going to be an accurate passer. I just can't. How about, look, talking about coaches, Brian, tonight, the guy that's across the field, to me, Freddie Kitchens, that was a terrible hire, man. He just, there's too many characters on that team. He wasn't ready to handle. You needed a seasoned, grizzled, veteran coach that has been through it all and knows the characters and knows personalities. When you put that many personalities in a locker room, man, you better have a guy that knows how to handle it. I don't think Freddie can.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's going too well, and they obviously brought him in to be in that role kind of because he was Baker's guy, right? It seemed like things were going well between them last year when Baker started playing better in his rookie year, and now seeing a whole lot of upside in any category to the Freddie Kitchens hire. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I think the stat is 5 or 6 of the last Browns coaches to be fired were fired after a Steelers game. So I don't think that he'd get canned if they lose tonight. But obviously things have gone off the rails a little bit. I'm surprised they managed to find a way even at home to beat the Bills last week. So maybe Greg Williams should have gotten the job a year ago if they just wanted to hire from within. But it seems like that they're going to have to kind of do a reset, and I wonder if a couple years from now we'll be talking about whatever happened to the Baker Mayfield era Browns and why did it not go so well for them when it looked like everything was trending up on paper.
You know, they made the same mistake Tampa did. Remember when they got rid of Lovey because I forgot the name of the offensive coordinator that became the head coach, and he got a good year out of Jameis, and they were afraid that they were going to lose him to other teams.
Cutter.
Right, exactly. And they elevated Dirk Cutter, and they got rid of Lovey, and it didn't work out. And that's kind of the same thing. It was, we thought that he had the key to the kingdom for the quarterback, so let's give him the whole kingdom, and it didn't work out. That's it reminds me of that mistake.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm surprised that Baker Mayfield has struggled so much. I was a big believer in him coming into the season. I mean, I'll admit it. I thought I was buying the Browns hype. I thought they were going to win the AFC North, and wasn't sure if the Steelers were even going to be sort of in the picture there. But hey, the Ravens have proven that they have the strongest identity in this division. They have the best quarterback in this season, no doubt, out of the 4 that are in the AFC North. So I was wrong for believing in the Browns just like many before me have been wrong, ever putting their faith in a franchise that when GMs change, coaches change, quarterbacks change, and it just seems like they can never really get out of their own way.
Yeah, no doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Brian Batko. Catch his work there at the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, covering the Steelers on a daily basis. Brian, safe drive, my friend, over to Cleveland, and enjoy yourself tonight covering the game, my man. I appreciate you taking some time and talking a little Steelers with us.
Sure thing, Big O. Enjoy all the football this weekend yourself, all right?
Thank you, my brother. You be good. There you go. Excellent as always, man. Brian Batko, man. Excellent. All right. And I'm happy for him because he covered the Panthers for a while for Pittsburgh, and then he got the call from the Gazette to do the Steelers. So he didn't have to move. He stayed right in town. He moves from the Pitt Panthers to the Pitt Steelers. That's really cool for him, and it's a great beat to have. Obviously, to be a part of the Steelers beat. That's pretty cool there, man. Obviously,
one of the better franchises in the league, no doubt.
That's definitely royalty in our league is the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's really simple: 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's the way you can chime in. Also on Twitter, at Big O Show is the way that you can chime in. We are at Toyota of Hollywood out here, and we'll be out here till about 3 o'clock, I would imagine, right around there. And then we will wrap it up here on the show. We still have a bunch of things to get to. Paul McDonough is going to join us at the top of the hour. For you soccer fans out there, Paul McDonough is the sporting director of Inter Miami. Going on with Inter Miami. The pressure's on Paul now. He now has a start date. So he's got to get a team ready for that start date next year. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to this. It's going to be cool. Calvin Watkins, my buddy who covers the Dallas Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News, is going to stop by at 1:30. So we'll get his thoughts on the Cowboys. At 2 o'clock, Richmond Webb. I had a great time as a beat reporter covering Richmond back in the day. So we'll talk to the former Dolphin great at 2 o'clock. So we'll talk a little Dolphins with him. Let me tell you about Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines, folks, where they have got some great deals going on right now. 2019 models, the ILX is $119. 2020, the TLX is $259. The RDX $329. The MDX $369. Only $29.99 to its signing, plus tax tag and registration, folks. Check out the fleet of certified pre-owned vehicles and the used cars. All makes, all models to fit all kinds of budgets. Go see Larry Schlossberg and Pat Nasto and Tony Stampone and tell them that Big O sent you, and trust me, they will take care of you at the finest dealership in the business. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that $1 million, whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right, welcome back. Top of the hour, we're going to talk to Paul McDonough, Inter Miami sporting director, basically their general manager, in other words. He's going to join us. We got a bunch of news with Inter Miami. Calvin Watkins will join us at 1:30 from the Dallas Morning News to talk a little Cowboys. At 2 o'clock, we'll talk to Richmond Webb, the former Miami Dolphin great. All kinds of stuff. Remember, you can always reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, which is 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. And NorCal chimes in, says, I hate hearing about this weak QB. His best 2 years were mediocre QB play, terrible football player without Pro Bowls all around, with Pro Bowlers all around him. NorCal. Cap had one hell of a team in his time, and he had great moments. And you're right, it was a couple of years, and he's kind of lived off of that. And this is part of the hype and the conversation and everything else, and then the controversy that comes with it. And that's why there's this whole thing, too, because of the controversy. And then you've got the news side of the media that is writing on this thing, which then makes it a bigger media wave and a bunch of noise that they have to kind of, work through. And that's why I'm telling you that this workout is a farce. The NFL put this together as a joke. And I still don't truly believe that he wants to be a quarterback anyway. I just don't. I really don't. That's why I just don't think that in the end, this is something that is going to pay off for anybody. But the good thing is for the NFL, like I told you before, they're Teflon. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't ever hurt them. It doesn't ever come back to bite them or set them back. Big O, do you think Vince McMahon would have Cap in the XFL? Remember, Vince has ties to Trump and his wife and is on the Trump administration, Eugene and Homestead. Eugene, I think they would have him. You know why? He would be their most popular player. He would bring, and if there's something that Vince McMahon knows about is hype and promotion. And Kaepernick would bring a bunch of hype and promotion to the league. So, yes, I think they would happily sign him. The problem is Cap won't sign with them, and he probably would want more money, and they're not going to pay that kind of money because that's not in their budget. So again, he doesn't really want to be a quarterback. If he wanted to be a quarterback, he would have gone to the CFL. Just another PR stunt by the NFL, Big O. Miss you on Sirius. Well, thank you. I'll still be on Sirius. I'll still be on Sirius. I'm just not doing it on a permanent basis now. Not with this going. This has gone too well for us. I want to focus on this all the way because I think this is something that we can build to be pretty special and a lot of fun, and there's a lot of freedom to doing this. That's the one thing that I love about this, and I'm excited about it. And what we're able to build here, as long as we continue to grind, me and Bill, and obviously all of you, downloading it, our sponsors getting behind it, we've got everything to build this together. That's what it's all about. Yeah. So I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support, and thank you for following us here on the podcast like so many of you have. But to me, this is all just a PR mess that's going on with Cap. And personally for me, I got to tell you something. I know I got to talk about it because it's going on, but I'm tired of it myself. Because it reminds me of us talking about Willie Williams for 2 years. Well, should they give him a chance? And then they finally gave him a chance, and he was a disaster. And then you're like, regret it all. And we do this all the time in sports. There's this one subject that comes up and then chews up a lot of our time for no reason at all. And then in the end, we wasted all our time talking about it, and it does nothing.
Are you tired of this?
Tony, you trying to figure that out? Yeah, it's a camera. Yeah, it's on this side. Yeah.
Are you tired of
that way? It's on our YouTube channel. There you go. So we do audio and video, and then we podcast it all. That's what it is. There you go. The great Tony Stampone is in the house at Toyota of Hollywood.
Obviously, you're not tired.
When's the next concert? Here, come here. Grab the mic here.
Next concert? I just saw.
Did you go to the Stones? Did you go to the Stones?
I saw a Three Stone show. I was on tour with them actually a little bit.
Does Keith Richards play any guitar?
Yes, he does.
He barely plays. I saw him. He barely plays.
No, he plays.
He plays. Ronnie Woods carried all the weight. You trying to get in the camera shot?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's going to talk, get him on the camera, man.
Ronnie Woods carried the whole damn thing.
100%.
Okay.
You saw one of the shows?
Yeah, I saw the one here.
Here. Okay, I was here. I was there.
Yeah.
I also went to Jersey. I saw him at the Metal.
Okay.
So it was more of a party.
And guaranteed everybody was high.
Yeah, that was absolutely.
Right? I mean, you're in Denver.
That's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Right. That's
you're
right.
not just mile high.
Yeah,
you're literally high.
You're literally high.
Yeah.
You're literally high. Good point. But I think that was their best show.
Okay. They sounded good. Don't get me wrong now. But I was just laughing that Keith, he's just playing a little bit here and there. It's like filling in. And I'm looking at Ronnie Woods.
No, Ronnie's carrying it.
He's carrying it all,
100%.
man. And the fact that Mick would have a couple stents, because I have 5 stents in my arteries, okay? I have 2 in one and 3 in another. And I had to go through the recovery of that. That ain't easy. And for that man to recover from that quickly and go dance around from one side of the stage to the other, that dude's amazing, bro.
Yeah, he is amazing. He definitely carries the band.
He is a health wonder, dude.
Yes.
I don't know how. And Keith Richards, I want his DNA because whenever World War III happens, we're all dead except for the Roaches and Keith Richards.
Yeah, he'll be alive.
He's going to be the only dude alive, and the rest of us will be fried and gone. It's crazy. It really is. So what's the next concert for you?
I don't know what's on the radar. I may go see Billy Joel.
Okay.
Billy Joel's playing over here at the New Guitar.
Uh-huh.
I may go check that out.
Okay.
But that's really it right now. And this time of the year, with the business is like crazy because there's 2 months here to the end of the year, and we're selling cars like nuts, and it's busy, dizzy. So nothing really happens until after the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm looking here to see like a big time act that's coming, and nothing is coming like big. There's some concerts, Dennis DeYoung is coming.
Yeah,
that's actually 2 days from now. Dennis DeYoung is going to be here. Leonard Skinner's coming November 30th.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
At least what's left of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not too bad. But I don't see like you know which one's going to be good, but it's in Southwest on the other side of the state is Robert Cray. You ever seen Robert Cray live?
Yes.
I love Robert Cray. I saw
Spectacular.
Robert Cray open up for Peter Frampton a couple years ago at the Hard Rock Live. I haven't been to the new one. Have you gone to the new one yet?
Yes.
I was there. Did you go to the Maroon 5 concert?
No, I didn't go. No, I didn't go to a concert.
Oh, you went to check it out?
I went to check it out.
How is it?
It's pretty cool. I mean, they've definitely upped the game. I mean, if they blindfold you and stuck you in there, you think you're in Las Vegas. So they definitely, raised the bar to the experience. So
yeah. What's it called? What was you asking me about heavy metal? Heavy metal bands coming? I don't know if there's any heavy metal bands like big time that are coming. Ozzy Osbourne is coming May 29th.
Yeah.
But it's, May 29th. It's not like right around the corner.
And hopefully he'll be here May 29th.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, right. Hopefully he makes it to May 29th because he's got a new album. I wouldn't call it metal, but Incubus is December 1st. That's kind of like hard rock. Queensryche is January 17th at the Culture Room. That's actually going to be a really good show at the Culture Room. Even without the guy that replaced Jeff Tate actually does a really, really good job overall. Candlebox is at the Culture Room.
Wow.
February 28th and 29th. They always come for 2 nights. You saw them the last time they were here. You saw Candlebox, right? I was
the Culture Room.
Right, yeah, they're coming.
And I guess the only member from the Ridge is the lead singer.
The lead singer, yeah.
But they did a great job.
Yeah.
Candlebox was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So not a lot of metal concerts coming up, unfortunately. Cool. But there you go. So how's everything else, man?
Everything else is cool. Everything's so just wanted to come over.
How are we
say
doing
hi.
in the Craig Zinn family is kicking butt?
Yeah, we're selling cars, People are buying cars. They like us. They keep coming back for some reason.
Yeah. Well, the service. You guys are fantastic with the service and all the dealerships. I've been working with Acura for so long, and then now working now with Steve here. And by the way, I was blown away. I didn't know how big this place was, and the movement that this place has.
Yeah.
It is impressive.
Yeah. If you're buying a Toyota and you don't come here to buy it,
you're cheating yourself.
You paid too much for the car.
Right, you're going to end up paying some. Right,
Yeah.
right. Because this number one volume dealership. They just and they got a parking garage back there that's like 87 stories tall. It's just crazy. There's thousands of cars in that thing. No, seriously, it's like 1,500 cars.
It's a great franchise. We're very, very fortunate, and it's a great car. Toyota builds a great product.
Yes.
So we're very, very fortunate that we're Toyota dealers because that's a big part of who we are.
Well, as always, my brother, thank you for stopping by and appreciate the partnership. You got it, my man. All right, let's continue. And if you want to get in on the program, you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. It's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. And, of course, you can always reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Love talking a little music there with Tony Stampone. He does a great job, man. I've dealt with Tony for many, many years over at Acura, and obviously now this has become the Craig Zinn family has given us the honor of being able to broadcast at 2 different dealerships that they own. Who knows? Maybe, Bill, we can add a 3rd Craig Zinn dealership down the line or something. I'll talk to Tony and see if we can add a 3rd dealership.
A 3rd dealership.
Why not? As long as it's in the Craig Zinn family.
Right.
We're
exactly.
good.
Yeah.
We're good. We can be out at Lexus. We could be out at Subaru. You never know. Yesterday, by the way.
Pick a car, any car?
Yesterday, I finally did it. Because I told you I was going to do it 2 days ago. But I went to my smart TV and I could not find the damn app for Disney Plus. Yesterday, the app appeared. And I was able to download the app.
Really?
Yeah, you sign up for free month. You got to put your credit card and you got to cancel it
Right.
before the free month is up if you
Gotcha.
want to get out.
Yeah.
Which I won't. I'm probably
You're
going to
in.
keep. I'm
You're
gonna keep
in.
It. Yeah. So
the Star Wars things has got you.
I watched The Mandalorian last night.
How was it?
It was really good.
It's
dude.
up to. It's up to.
It was really
Star
good,
Wars
dude.
snuff.
It
Okay.
was really good. It was well written. They did not go cheap at all. It looks great.
So it's every bit the budget of a movie.
Yeah. Now remember, and this is not Boba Fett, because the Mandalorian has the Boba
Yes.
Fett head. You know, it looks like, but it's a different color.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's not Boba Fett or Jango Fett.
It's like the
Because remember
it's
Jango
like
Fett later. his
It's like
son.
the silver C-3PO that is not the gold C-3PO. You know,
Okay.
whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Gotcha.
So he has that on, and because my wife walks in to the show when I'm watching, she goes, "Oh, is that the Boba?" And I go, "Boba Fett. That's not him." He wears the same thing, but it's not. I don't, because he's called the Mandalorian. He's a Mandalorian.
Okay.
Because that's what they are. The
bounty
Boba
hunter.
Fett,
The bounty hunter.
They are
Yeah.
Mandalorians. And so that's what it's called, the Mandalorian.
Remember-
but I don't think this is, at least I don't believe, somebody out there, you could tell me that it's not Boba Fett. Now, I'm not going to say anything about the show, because I'm not going to ruin it for any of you out there. I'm not. It just came out, just 2 days ago.
Remember, that is the where all the clones were made for the
Yes.
original attack on the rebels.
Right.
With the, selling them out and turning on them. I'm incorporating Article 7 or
Right.
whatever it was.
Okay.
But it was all cloned off of Boba Fett.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Maybe that's what it is. The dude's a badass, the Mandalorian.
Oh, yeah. All those.
That's all I can
yeah.
tell you. I'm not going to say anything else. I don't want to tell you what happened, but it's well written, good acting, nice twist at the end of the first episode. I think the new episode comes out Friday or Saturday or something like
so
that.
this is an every week deal.
Yeah, it's an every week deal.
Okay.
The thing I
Do
would
you know how many episodes you're in? If it's going to be an 8, 12, 15.
I have no
You don't
idea.
know how many they're
I
going
have
to
no
incorporate
idea.
that first season. Okay.
But if you're a Star Wars
yeah.
geek, okay, and that's the other thing about Disney Plus. They have all the movies. They have the Clone Wars cartoons. They have anything that's Star Wars related. They own it. They have it. They possess it.
Oh, that's theirs. That's
it. You're not finding it anywhere else. And everything, the way it's designed, it looks really good. It's easy to work. I really enjoyed it yesterday watching Disney Plus. I was pissed because I told you 2 days ago, okay, I want to watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And man, I got home and I was frustrated. I could not get. And my wife goes, well, go on the laptop. And I go, no, I refuse to go on the laptop. I don't want to watch the first episode.
You got a smart TV. I want to go what I paid the smart TV for, right?
Dude, I got a 70-inch television. I want to watch it on the 70-inch television. That's why I got the damn TV for. And I could not find the app, and I searched for it. And then yesterday, somehow or another, on the smart TV, the app popped up because it was only Disney Now. And I don't want Disney Now. I wanted Disney Plus. And I ended up getting the Disney Plus yesterday, and I got to tell you, The Mandalorian is awesome. You got to watch it. Definitely got to watch it. And plenty of Star Wars references in it also. That's the other thing, that throughout the thing, as a Star Wars fan, you'll have your things in there that will keep you like you feel like it's an extension of the story.
It ties in. It
Yes.
ties in with everything
Yes.
else.
Yes.
Of all the individual
Effects, acting, writing, props, all of it was exceptional.
of all the individual stories that they've done, not the group of 6 or 7 or 8, wherever we're
I
at
love
now.
Rogue One.
Dude, Rogue One is that
Awesome.
scene. Because my guy,
Love it.
Darth Vader at the end, and he's just throwing people and cutting them in half and going. That scene,
Rogue One was awesome.
the Han
rewind. Solo one was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed the Han Solo one, but if you gun ahead,
yes,
Rogue
One is
Rogue.
I've seen the Darth Vader scene
right
probably
That's why-
100 times.
That's why when they tell you that this is the last one coming up, it's not the last one. There's too much money to be
Yes,
made.
exactly.
How many
Exactly.
Disney Plus subscriptions are they going to sell just for us, the Star Wars fans that want to watch The Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, you know what?
I don't know what else there was in Disney Plus until I got into it last night and then started going, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool.
Pixar's and all
they're
those,
and they're gonna add more stuff to it, which is great because it's Disney. They got all the money.
Yes.
So I figure I'm gonna have to have Disney, Apple, and then I'll decide between Netflix and Hulu. And I'm gonna keep Amazon Prime because I'm an Amazon.
Hold what
I'm
you
an
got.
Amazon membership.
Oh, what
so
you got?
no-
Because I saw something about a special with Disney,
Like a package.
Disney, Hulu, and
Yeah,
something
package.
else for like $14.99.
I know.
which
I'm
was
gonna
like,
get that package. Probably.
Jesus, I mean Hulu alone is probably $7 or $8.
Yeah.
You kick in the Disney,
Yeah.
and then whatever the third thing is that they're throwing, that's like a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's still cheaper than all your movie channels.
It is,
And
that's-
you'll get more.
Yeah.
And it's like this. We're live right now, but it's all on demand. And all I get from you guys every single day, whether it's on Twitter, on the text, Facebook, you name it, here on YouTube, even on the people on YouTube that are watching live, they don't watch all 4 hours or 3 hours that we broadcast every day. They watch a portion of it, and then they go back and they love the fact that it's all on demand. And if I just want to hear you rant about Kaepernick, I can do that. And if I just want to hear you rant about the Heat, then I can do that, and I can get that piece or whatever. That's all we're hearing is how much you guys love all the
Well,
on
we're
demand.
at their disposal. When you want to grab it, I mean, you can.
And that's the
listen to it
difference.
at
That's
your leisure.
And that's what's changed now in
The
this
other
world
thing is,
with on demand.
is unlike radio, you stop or turn it off, you could come back and pick it up where you left off.
Yes.
It isn't like you're okay. Whatever happened, you're lost now.
Yeah, and I promise you, we're working on the website. In fact, we had a meeting yesterday about the website and everything, and we're still working on figuring out how to do a listen live button. So all you got to do is listen to the audio if that's what you want. Now, I'm told that with YouTube Premium, you can do that where you don't have to have the video up to listen. You can if you only want to listen to the audio, you can actually do that for our show. So if you have YouTube Premium, that will definitely help you out. Mandalorians are a group of people from planet Mandalore. That's what Juan Olguin is telling me. Well, thank you, Juan. Appreciate that. It was good. It was good, man. It was good.
It's not part of the Boba Fett or Jango Fett faction.
Well, no, I don't. I think Boba must be a Mandalorian, right? Because he has the same
yes,
helmet.
And Jango, of
so
course,
he has
with
the
the
same
sun. Yeah.
right. They have to be of the same ilk, but it's just the story's not about him, is what I'm saying. That's
Right.
all. At least I don't think so, because nobody called him Boba Fett.
Okay.
So I don't think it's Boba Fett. Plus, his helmet is way cooler than the Boba Fett one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you can pull it up. It's actually right on my Twitter feed. I got a video of it. He's got like a gold silver helmet look that is really cool instead of that green gold brown, I think, is the one that Boba Fett has.
Yes.
And that's where it's a cooler looking
Man, I
looking
can
helmet.
remember playing the Star Wars game on Nintendo 64 for Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
And when you got toward the end, you had to go up against Boba Fett.
Uh-huh.
You want to talk about... Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Beyond frustration. Went through, actually, a couple of remote controls because of frustration. Yes.
I can see that. I can see where that would be the case. But it was good. All I would tell you is if you're a Star Wars fan, go check it out. You will love it, and you'll be hooked. Plus, I know what it's like being a Star Wars fan. It's a lot like a drug addict. You can't get enough of it, and you want more. And if this is going to be more, here you go, Bill. Look at it. Yo, Bill. See? That's him right there. It's a cooler looking, dude than Boba Fett.
the shininess. It brings the helmets more.
And even that picture doesn't even do it justice.
No, because
when
obviously
you're really
the shadowing and stuff like that involved. But like you said, the green, it just absorbed. He looked very dull.
If I remember correctly, Boba Fett helmet was like kind of worn out.
Well, he had been through a lot, man.
Like some of the paint was falling off of it and stuff.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
He was worn.
Yeah.
And do you remember how Boba Fett dies?
Yeah, it was in the thing that ate in the ground.
They're out in the
when
desert.
They were trying to execute them, and they all
Han Solo's all blind still in this, and Chewie goes, blah, 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 and, what, Bobo? And he spun around.
It's like that. It's like that Venus flytrap that was trapped inside a desert.
Yeah,
that had a mouth. Yeah,
and he accidentally
fell in. Well, that's when that thing the ship got hit and then tilted over. He fell in, right? That's
because Han Solo, Chewie goes, blah, blah, and he goes, what, Boba Fett? And he spins around. And he turned on his jetpack.
Oh, that's
and
right.
And Boba went flying into the spaceship.
That's right.
Hit the edge and fell in.
Right, that's right.
Accidental death.
That's right. So Boba Fett is history in the archives. That's right. He got eaten up, but it's worth it.
The baddest guy gets accidentally killed by Han Solo.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Although, really, the baddest guy may have been Pizza the Hut because
the baddest guy is actually Darth Vader straight up.
No, I mean in that moment, in that place
yes,
there. Yeah.
Yes.
And the princess took care of him, choking his ass out. That was impressive too. She looked hot in that getup back in that day. You're like, whoa, Princess Leia. That got you going back in those days. That's for damn sure. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's how you can reach out to us on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. So now you know, sign up for Disney Plus. You get a free trial initially. I think the first month is free, so you get to check it out. And if you don't like it, make sure you unsubscribe before the month is done so they don't charge you. And you'll get to see a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian because the first one's up. The next one comes up this weekend. And for those of you, one of the guys that follows me on Twitter, he lives in England, and he told me that they don't get Disney Plus till like March of next year. So he has to wait till March of next year. And I told him, well, at least you get to binge because by the time you get it, the whole series will be out. I would imagine that it's done by March. You'll have the entire series there and you'll get to binge watch. Nothing like that. That's the one thing that I left wanting more last night. Like I watched the first episode and I'm like, damn, now I got to wait till, I think a couple more days until the new one comes out. And that sucks.
That's the torture aspect of this waiting, man, and the way we're able to now binge.
Right.
There has not been a thing that I've wanted to see that I've jumped in and done week to week.
No.
I always let me know when the series comes out.
Yeah, let it pile up. That's what a lot of people do. A lot of people want to binge watch.
Forget that jonesing crap, man.
Yeah. Oh, they definitely want to binge watch. No doubt. Hey, this is, I see where the Seminole Coconut Creek Casino just tweeted out. Enjoy an outdoor concert featuring Third Eye Blind Sunday, November 17th. How about that? That's a good little show at the Seminole Coconut Creek Casino. A little Third Eye Blind on a Sunday. It's not too bad right there. That should be fun. I wonder how much tickets are for that event. Can't be too much, right? Probably $30-$40 or something like that. That looks like a pretty cool concert to go to. All right, let's do this. Let's wrap up hour number 2 already on the program. When we come back, Paul McDonough, Inter Miami sporting director, is going to join us. There's a lot of news going on with Inter Miami. We will get in contact with him at the top of the hour, so we will talk a little Inter next.
plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
What's the name of this band again?
This This is White Reaper.
White Reefer? Is that like
Reap,
sugary?
Reap, as in Grim, Reaper, Reaper.
Okay.
White Reaper.
I'm sorry.
Might be right.
I'm sorry.
This jams, man. New stuff.
It's not bad. Not bad. Pretty good stuff. All right, welcome back. We take you, of course, till 3. We're coming to you live from Toyota of Hollywood. There is no finer dealership in the business, baby. You want your best Toyota? Get here, right here at Toyota of Hollywood. Come see Steve Ostrov, Herbie Lopez, all the great people out here. My man Tony Stampone is out here. How about that? It's phenomenal. Love it. Great people out here, man. I'm telling you. Awesome, awesome people. We are hoping to get in contact with Paul McDonough, Inter Miami sporting director, their general manager. So we'll hopefully get in contact with him. Brandon says, Big O, how about White Reaper? There you go. We saw them at the Struts. Oh, really? They opened up for the Struts that night? I didn't even... Really? At the Culture Room?
Who's telling you that?
Brandon Flood is telling me that I remember the crowd wasn't feeling White Reaper, but I liked a couple of their songs and listened to the album and the show. Decent group. That's the band that opened up for the Struts?
You saw them and you didn't even know it.
I didn't even remember. I don't remember them. I don't even remember. That was White Reaper, huh? Wow. Okay.
Guess what? You've seen them. I haven't. I know them. You don't.
Yeah.
Tell me how that makes any sense.
I don't care. I saw the Struts, bro. That's the bomb.
I knew you were going to say that.
The Struts are why I was there. Okay? The Struts are phenomenal. Those guys are awesome. That was a performance. It was a bittersweet performance when I saw the Struts at the Culture Room. Why? Because I knew it would be the last time I would see a band like them, or that band in a room like that. They were going to become too big. They're not going to be playing in small places like that anymore. They're going to be playing in big houses. That's what's going to end up happening, because that's usually what happens. That's how they roll when you grow that way, you know. It's a pleasure when you get to see a really good act in a small place that's intimate. Whenever I could go to a show at the Culture Room, or the Fillmore's a little bigger, but especially the Culture Room, because it's so small and intimate, it's awesome. And I've seen several excellent bands there, and it's so good. I remember seeing Johnny Marr there, and that was just awesome to see Johnny Marr in that room right there. I always tell people, go to YouTube, and there's a show in England for many decades, right? I think it went on for like 2 or 3 decades easily. It was called Top of the Pops. And you go ahead and YouTube Top of the Pops and put Blondie or whatever, any band from back in the day, and it'll come up. And check out the stage setup and everything, and then go to the Culture Room. And tell me that the Culture Room doesn't give you that ambiance of Top of the Pops. When I watch Top of the Pops, I think of the Culture Room. I'm like, wow, man, the Culture Room has that look, that feel of Top of the Pops and their stage setup. Brandon says, I think people don't appreciate good music. I love the Struts, but they have been mid-level as far as a draw, so I wouldn't be surprised if they come back to the Culture Room again. Really? Man, I would expect them to be at the Fillmore or the Pompano Beach Amphitheater, something like that. I think that the Struts would be in a bigger place. Hey, listen, Brandon, I hope you're right, dude. I hope I'm dead wrong on that. Because I'll be more than happy again to buy a ticket at the Culture Room and go see the Struts perform in a place like that. No problem. I'm the lucky one then. I win then, because that's what I felt like that night. When I saw that concert, I was like, this is a win right there. I remember with Bill once, I went to go see U2, the Achtung Baby tour, and we saw it in Lakeland. in the Lakeland Civic Center, which holds 5,000. And when you can see U2 in a place that holds 5,000, are you kidding me? Last year, they played, earlier this year, they played at the Apollo. That would have been awesome to see U2 at the Apollo. It'd be fantastic. So cool. One guy, Brandon says, yep, that was my second time seeing them at the Culture Room. But yeah, I could get that at that moment. But now they've gotten even bigger. But we'll see. Maybe you're right, Brandon. I listen. I mean, for their sake, I hope they go to bigger places because then they can earn more money and make a better living for themselves. You know, they do make great music. They deserve it. They bring a lot of joy to those of us that love music. But selfishly, if I could see everybody in the Culture Room, let's go. Let's do it. The only bands that I need to see maybe on big places is the ones that bring that big stage show. Like Iron Maiden would lose a lot at the Culture Room. It'd be great to see them because music-wise it'd be fantastic to see it, but you'd want to see the whole stage show. Eddie, everything, lights, all that stuff, the big-ass plane, whatever, you name it, that's not going to fit in the Culture Room. That would be a little bit of an issue there. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. All right, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. One of the things that I would tell you, did we break for the top of the hour? We did, right? Yeah, we did, right?
Yes, we did.
One of the things that I would tell you about, this is a subject that I wanted to talk a little bit about, is I know that we're all hurting for a quarterback. And those of us that are old enough and we lived through Greasy Marino and with a little Woodstock in between, we were so spoiled for 30-something years, right? And now we've gone through these 20-plus years of hell of trying to figure it out, and it's built obvious frustrations for all of us. So we have this thing that we're hooked, that we need this one player, and without that one player, you really can't move forward, which is true. In general, it is very true. I mean, there are those cases, the Denver Broncos a few years back, that they could overcome Peyton Manning that was dead already at that point as a quarterback. There are those times that Tampa Bay in 2001 did not need a great quarterback, needed a game manager, a guy that can just get it done in Brad Johnson, and they did it. And the same thing with the Baltimore Ravens and a game manager in Trent Dilfer. There are those moments that you get to build a great team that it's so good that you don't need a great quarterback. But more often than not, you need that great signal caller. Right? We've all wanted it. Is that blister in the sun?
That would be some violent film, sir. Yes.
Let me go out. I got blister in the sun. There we go. I love it.
You've seen him, what, twice?
I've seen him a few times. Yeah.
I got to see him that one time.
At the Sunset Cove?
Minute work thing, yeah.
Yeah, Colin Hay.
What a cool place.
And Bare Naked Ladies.
Yes.
They were great.
Yes.
They were great. They were way better than I became a Bare Naked Ladies fan after that concert. And then I've seen them a couple more times because they're so damn fun to watch on stage. They put on a great show. But I love the Violent Femmes. I saw them at the Hollywood. It's not the Hollywood Bowl. It's called something in Vegas. I forgot the name of it, but I saw them there, and it was fantastic. Anyway, all right. As I digress and got sidetracked because we got a performer
With
here.
that jam, it's easy to do, man.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of those jams that I could just crank at any time. Anyway, so we're all losing sleep on this quarterback thing. We're getting crazy about it. We get to the point that the football team that you love and you follow, you're wishing the worst on them because you want them to hold the draft position. And here's the other thing that I want to remind all of you out there. Being locked at number one is not the panacea. Because what if, when it's all said and done, nobody is really worthy of that number one? And then you're taking that quarterback. Or you got to go Chase Young and say, well, I'm not taking that quarterback. Look, here's what I would tell you. Life is short. Okay? I am as frustrated as you guys. And those of you that have followed this show for years, I've clearly expressed my frustrations with the Dolphins the last 20 years. This year, obviously, since the offseason, they've done things that I wanted them to do. So I clearly cannot be frustrated right now. And I'm not going to get frustrated about this process. I told you already, I enjoy this process. I want to see this team grow. And I want to see them build it the right way. But what I do love about all of this is the passion that everybody shows. And I respect that. One way or the other, even if I disagree with you if you're a tanker, because I disagree with you in tanking. I'm pretty consistent about this. I wasn't for tanking for luck, and I'm not tanking for now or none of that. You rebuild through youth. I got no problem with that. And yeah, you're going to lose because you're building through youth. I got no problem with that, but it's a rebuild in my book. It's not that you are systematically to lose. They're not going to put pieces just to appease people and just to get by. And when it comes to this quarterback issue, okay, here's one of the things that we all have to figure out who's the right guy. Are you sure? Tua, number one overall, and I love him as a passer. I can't tell you guys enough about that because that's why I want him, because he's a passer. But the other reason why I don't want him now, it's because I don't know if he can stay healthy. And I really worry about that. Here's a guy that is going to go to the next level, play a tougher game against better athletes and more games a year, and he can survive less games a year at a lesser game in college. Is that not a concern for you? Joe Burrow has looked great for 1 year. So did Mark Sanchez. So did Mitch Trubisky, did all right in North Carolina for 1 year. And then how does that work out? Are you sure that Joe Burrow, after a season of starting, is going to be the guy? Are you sure of that? Justin Herbert looks the part. 6'6", 240, can throw it, all of that. He doesn't have that glaring moment that says, wow. There are no great wins for him. There are no great performances for him. He's had some solid wins, but nothing major. Nothing that you say, wow, I got to have that guy. Tua's had those moments. Joe Burrow's had those moments. Jalen Hurts has had those moments. Herbert hasn't. How do you know Jake Fromm is not the guy? How do you know Jacob Fromm is not the guy there in Washington? Are you sure? I'm sorry, Jacob Eason. Jake Fromm is in Georgia. I don't know. There's still a lot to kind of figure out. So to assume that having the number one pick is going to be the answer, it wasn't when you picked Jamarcus Russell. And Jamarcus Russell had the greatest workout in the NFL history. You remember that? Remember that workout he had? And everybody came out wowed because he had a great workout against absolutely nobody. He was just throwing to receivers. There's no defense, no nothing, no pass rush, but it was the greatest workout of all time after coming out of LSU. He had to be the number one pick. How did it work out? Joey Harrington. How'd it work out? And we could just go on and on and on and on and on and talk about guys that were taken number 1 overall. And a bunch of them have failed. Now, some of them have succeeded too.
More have failed than succeeded, actually.
Right, but my point is, this you're killing yourselves, and you're bringing ulcers on because you're worried about the Dolphins winning a game. And I explained to you in yesterday's podcast why winning is important and how it establishes that culture for the following season and the season after that. You cannot tell somebody, hey, we're all going to lose games this year. We're not going to try it whatsoever. And then next year's crop of players come in and say, all right, so how do I do this? Oh, I don't know, man. I'm going to find out just like you. Last year they told us to give up. That doesn't really set a great precedent. And it doesn't really set a foundation of winning. This year, everything they're doing is actually turning out to some victories now. So everything they're selling is working. So next year's players can ask this year's players, how do I do this? What do I do this? What are the coaches expecting? This is what they're expecting. This is the end result. This is what we're trying to accomplish. Because there's a group of players that have been there and done it now. How do you do that if you tell everybody to just tank? You can't do that. And that's why I'm telling you that you cannot sit there and kill yourself worrying about whether they won or they lost. You're going to be able to find a quarterback in the top of the draft, in the middle of the draft, in the back end of the draft. It's been proven over and over and over again. In fact, maybe we could argue that more starting quarterbacks are found outside of the top 3. Right? I mean, if I went through it, if I went through the list of quarterbacks, how many of them are actually top 3 picks in the draft? I don't believe that there's a lot of those.
No, definitely not.
Right? I mean, that's when you look at it and you got to say, okay, wait a minute, hold on. And that's why, okay, look, Josh Allen for Buffalo, not number 1 overall, right? He was like 8, right? Not in the top 3. Patriots, obviously in the 6th round. The Jets, Sam Darnold, he was picked pretty high. I don't know if it was top 3 or maybe 4 or 5 or something like that. Pretty close. Let me see if I can find it for you here. Overall, let me see here. Sam Darnold, 1st round, and the 2018 draft. And it doesn't say here what number pick. Yeah, see if you could find it there for me, Bill. If you could find the number pick there. He was top 5 for sure. I don't think he was 1 or 2, but I want to say he was 3, 4, or 5. I'm pretty sure of that, almost 1,000%. So let's just say for craps and giggles for the moment, he was top 3, one of them right now. The Ravens at the end of the 1st round. Cincinnati has a 2nd round pick that starts for them for many years now. The Browns, he was number 1 overall. That's 2. Ben Roethlisberger for Pittsburgh was like number 8. He wasn't top 3. Houston, he wasn't top 3 either. Indy wasn't top 3 either. Jacksonville, not top 3 either. Tennessee, Mariota, I think, was top 3. So that's the 3rd one. Denver, definitely not top 3 because they don't have anything. Kansas City, not top 3, was number 10 overall. The Chargers. Phillip Rivers was top 5. He wasn't top 3. I think he was like the 4th or 5th overall, but then traded for Eli. Let's just go with it. Let's give him the 4th. The Raiders, he's a 2nd round pick. Dallas, 4th round pick. The Giants, they don't have Eli anymore. The other kid was number 5 or number 6, I want to say, Jones, overall. And 6, I think it was. So he wasn't. Philadelphia, Carson Wentz was number 8 overall. Washington, he's not a number 1, number 2, or number 3 overall pick. The Bears, He was the second overall pick, I think, Trubisky, right? Or third? So he's the fifth one.
You know what? We had the third pick. We moved to 2.
Yeah.
We moved to 2. Yep.
Yeah. Stafford, I think, was also up there. That's 6. Green Bay was at the end of the first round. Minnesota, again, I think he's a 4th-round pick. Atlanta, number 1 overall. There's your 7th guy. Carolina, I don't know if Cam's not the starter, but was Cam might have been top pick. So let's go 8. New Orleans, 2nd round. Tampa, Jameis Winston, top pick, right? Number 1 or number 2. So there's your 8th guy.
He was picked before Joey.
Arizona,
remember?
This kid was picked number 1. Your 9th guy. The Rams, 10th guy, right? Because this guy was top 3. San Francisco, 2nd rounder. Seattle, 3rd rounder. 10 out of your 32 quarterbacks were picked in the top 3. How do you like that?
The other thing to remember about Rodgers, not only late in one, but he fell.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be picked like number 2 or 3 or 4, and he was picked like...
No. He was never supposed to be picked that early.
But he was supposed to be in the first 10.
Yeah, they thought
8, 9,
yes.
and he got picked like, what, 28, 29?
Yeah, something like that. It's in the 20s.
I can remember him sitting in the room and like about to cry and everything.
They were a good team, and they got it. But there you go. 10 out of your 32 are picked in the top 3 overall. So 2/3 of the league pick their quarterbacks after the top 3 in the draft. Why can't Miami be that team? Oh, Marino, 20-something in the draft. I don't know what Bob Greasy was in the draft. I'm not sure. You'd have to look it up. I know he was a first rounder. I'm pretty sure of that. Almost
out of Purdue, correct?
Yeah, I'm 99% sure
he was a first round. You know who the Dolphins?
But I don't think he was also top 3 actually either.
You know who somebody the Dolphins picked and he ended up going to the Canadian Football League?
Who?
Because they told him flat out, Bob Greasy's our starter. You're going to be the backup. Joe Theismann.
Yeah, I know that. Well, we talked about that earlier. Yes.
Definitely. No. It's Bob Greasy, the guy that doesn't pass, is our quarterback. And Joe to Canada.
Yeah. Actually, he was the 4th pick, just outside of the top 3. First round, 1967. He was the 4th pick out of Purdue. So he. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the Dolphins weren't picked in the top 3. 2/3 of your league are not picked in the top 3. Now, let's not kill ourselves over all of this. They haven't had a quarterback for 20-something years. Let's hope that this trend with the coaching staff continues because it's really cool to see what's happening with this coaching staff. And if the front office can pick players, then eventually you're going to get a hell of a team. And they'll figure out the quarterback one way or the other. It may not be through a draft pick. It may be through a trade. It may be through free agency. They solve it in the next year or 2 or 3. I don't know.
Bottom line.
But you can't force it either. And you can't expect and say, okay, if you have the number 1 pick, Tua is the guy, because if the injuries are a sign of things to come, you're not going to be a very happy Dolphin fan with Tua getting constantly injured.
Bottom line, man, the quarterback position is probably the hardest to define and go, this is a definite guy. This guy, forget about it. I mean, you look at Ryan Leaf. You look at what we thought of Peyton Manning, Ryan going before him. You look at all the players we thought were going to be and never panned out. Like, the quarterback is really a hit and a miss, man. It's a luck shot.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
There is no... This definitely, I mean, obviously Andrew Luck was an exception, but everybody else has some story that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something.
Yeah, it's Jim says, Big O, don't know how you feel, but I have the same feeling I had when Shula transformed the first year after Woodstock and was excited, not knowing what to expect, but felt it was special. And I'm with you. I'm with you. And actually, although Greasy did not pass much, he sure did have a smooth way of dropping back, handing off, and throwing. No, Greasy was a good quarterback. The thing is, he had the kind of team that ran a lot. And Shula's going to do whatever is your strength. He was just being smart, and so was Greasy. Why are you going to force the issue? You don't need to pass. If you got 3 monsters back there and you got a great line, control the game. I wish we could run the ball like that. That'd be fantastic. That would make any quarterback better than what they are. Yeah. I'm in a way, I'm with Jim here. I have a really good feeling about what's going on with the Dolphins right now. I just like the last almost year, I see a lot of good football moves. And eventually, they will turn the page here, load this team back up again, and eventually they will find their quarterback. But I'm not going to sit here in the process and drive my ass crazy by wishing the worst on my favorite team. I can't do that, dude. Sorry. That's just not in my DNA. I can sit here objectively and tell you if something's good or bad. Hey, this guy can play, this guy can't. I like this draft pick, I don't. That has nothing to do with it. But I'm not going to sit here and wish the worst on my team because I'm worried about a draft pick. And I'll stay consistent with what I've told you for 20 years on this show. It's not where you pick, it's who you pick. And that's why Russell Wilson and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are the best quarterbacks in the league, and none of them were taken top 3. That's why I'm not going to drive myself crazy. I'm going to say, okay, I feel they've got a great front office now that is going to prove I know they're not a great front office because they haven't proven it yet, but I'm predicting that this will be a great front office. And they will prove that they can develop players, that they can find players, that they can build a football team, and they can do it in a responsible fashion. We'll see. In time, I will be proven right or I will be proven wrong. Calvin Watkins, he covers the Dallas Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News. He joins us next.
Plus tax, tech title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used. 50% less. A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SCT, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodsey now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodsey can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
All right, here we go. Gonna have a little fun here. We're gonna talk a little Cowboy football with my man Calvin Watkins. Does an excellent job of covering the Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News. You can also follow him on Twitter at Calvin Watkins. Cal, how you doing, baby? Oh no, not yet. All right, we're trying to get him on here in a second. We will get him on now for you. Get Calvin Watkins on. Talk a little Cowboy football with him. And we'll have a little fun there. Cal, you there, my man?
We have Calvin for you, sir.
There we go. Calvin, you there?
Yeah.
How you doing, my friend? You doing all right?
I'm great. You doing all right?
Oh, man, I can't complain. I am as blessed as they get here in South Florida doing this show now, and it's taken off, my brother. So this has been really good. And I'm so
happy for you, man.
Yeah, no, and I have got freedom like I've never had, which is really really cool. Yeah, man. No, you'll see the setup we'll have at the Senior Bowl. It's
okay. That'll be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be really 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 cool. So I'll see you there at the Senior Bowl, right? You'll be there, right?
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. And you still do the national thing, right?
Yeah, I'm filling in now. I'm not doing it permanent anymore because of this thing now. This thing's taken off. And yeah, this whole on-demand thing, I could have never done this 5-10 years ago, Cal. Never. But now,
oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, but now you get home, it's all Netflix and Amazon Prime, and your music is iTunes and all that. People want all their stuff on demand. They don't want to wait a half hour of commercials on a radio show. Radio's actually the one that's dying. It's dying on the vine, bro. Because this podcasting, all this kind of stuff is taking off. And we do a different type of thing. We do a live podcast. We do a live video podcast, and then we podcast the thing. And then it's been the downloads have been amazing, dude. We're going well over 1 million in our first year, which is dude, it's crazy. But again, 5-10 years ago, I would have never been able to do this. I would have been dead and get out of the business. But now I don't need I don't need a radio station. How crazy is that, dude? It's yeah. Social media helps out, man, big time. All right, let's get into a little Cowboy talk. Where is the Dak conversation contract at this point with the way his performances have gone? He's had his up moments, his down moments. What is going on behind the scenes?
I would say not much. The Cowboys have made their offer. It's an offer that Prescott's agent Todd France does not like. Everyone I've talked to, the sides like each other. It's not an adversarial type relationship. It's just that the money that Dallas is offering, Prescott would like a lot more. When you talk about the numbers and where you're at, well, the highest paid player in the league at his position on average salary is Russell Wilson at $35 million per year. So Prescott would like to be in that area, maybe north of that. I'm sure he's looking at what Pat Mahomes could potentially receive. I'm sure he's looking at what the kid in Houston might receive, Deshaun Watson. And then down the line, who knows what Lamar Jackson in Baltimore might do in about 3 years. So the numbers for quarterbacks is going up, and Prescott wants to be right there.
Does he deserve to be right there?
Based on the market and how he's been playing this year, he's got one of the best offenses in the NFL. Sure, I mean, he should be right there in the top 5. I don't know about the number 1 spot, because I would, and you know, you've covered this thing a long time like I have, I would like to give the number 1 spot to guys who have rings on their finger, like a Russell Wilson who's been in 2 Super Bowls. So, but I also understand that the market changes. So I think he should be in the top 5 highly paid quarterback. Or some of these guys. So, but we'll see what happens in the offseason, because I don't think they'll get it done now. I just think they'll get it done in the offseason.
All right, so and in the offseason, anything going to happen ever with Garrett, or is Jerry happy because he's got his puppet in place? Because to me, I think that's a guy that, I don't know. I don't buy him, Cal. I just don't buy. I don't see great head coach there. You tell me, play calling, all this other stuff that's gone into question.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see a great head coach. One of the good things about Jason is he's a very consistent man. You know, he's kind of settled the culture down. His culture was a little jacked up when Wade Phillips was the coach, and he was able to settle things down, get things headed in the right direction. So, but in terms of taking your franchise to another level, Jason Garrett is not the guy to do that. So he is in the last year of his deal, and to get a new deal, he's got to get this team probably to the NFC Championship game, which I don't think he can do.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot there to get. What happened to them when it's gotten awry here this year, and things went bad? What did you see? Because you're there every day.
I think the biggest thing for them is consistency, or lack thereof. They've been inconsistent on defense. That's been the biggest thing. Offensively, they're off the charts. I mean, they got the best offense in the NFL. They got all kinds of weapons offensively. So offense is not the issue. Even the offense kind of hurt them in that game Sunday night against Minnesota. But besides that, defensively has been their biggest issue. They've been very inconsistent on so many different areas. And that's been, when you look at their record, what are they, 5-4, tied for first in the division for Philly? They should at least have 7 wins. But right now they got 5. So that tells you a lot about where they are. This is so inconsistent.
Are you believing any of this cap stuff? Because to me, one, I think this is a huge farce by the league, and any team that's sending a guy, they're just sending it for face. I don't think anybody's really interested in this guy, and I don't think anybody's going to hire this guy after he sued the league.
I don't like the fact that they're making this trial on a Saturday and that they're controlling it, and they're saying, hey, we're going to have a workout. We're going to invite these teams. We're not going to tell you who's coming. It sounds like a PR move by the league. It seems as if they're trying to force Kaepernick, and he's going to have to do it. They're trying to force him to say, hey, all right, I'm going to work out for all these teams. You know, and then the league will say, see, we tried to give you a chance to come back, and everyone saw you. They had a chance to interview you. We taped it. So when no one signs you, see, you can't blame us for not giving you a chance. When in reality, he was blackballed by the league. He's probably better than half the backups in the league, probably, if not all of them. He could start for some teams, I think, in this league. He could probably start for that team down there in Miami, as a matter of fact. But the reality is, this is a sham type of deal. He knows it, but he's got to kind of play the game in a sense by working out for these teams. I agree with you. I don't think anyone will sign him. If that was the case, he would have been signed by now.
No, here's the thing. He's 32, and he's an athletic quarterback that he needs his legs in order to be who he is. And he's 3 years removed. Nobody's going to build on an athletic, running 32-year-old quarterback. It's not a 32-year-old pocket quarterback. That wouldn't make a difference. An athletic quarterback, that makes all the difference in the world, man. This is so silly. And Cal, you and I know they do it on a Saturday. They do it in the middle of the season. They're not going to do it in the offseason to take away any offseason headlines. No, they do it now because they got another half season that will wash this away with the ocean, and it'll just go away. It'll all disappear.
Yeah, that's true. Look, Josh Johnson was signed after 2 years away by a team as a backup. So this notion that, he hasn't played in a while, that's a misnomer, because there have been guys who have not played in about 2 years, like Josh Johnson, and got a job. His legs, he's 32. I don't think that is an issue for me, because it's not like his body is beaten up. It's not like quarterback. He's never been a Lamar Jackson. He's probably more like what you do the RPOs and you can run them every once in a while. The biggest issue here is no one will give him a chance. So you hear all these excuses. He's been away for 3 years. Well, he didn't have to be away for 3 years. You could have signed him, And if this is the same guy who led the team to a Super Bowl appearance, the same guy who led them to, I think, 2 NFC championship games. He's a pretty accurate quarterback. So there's all these excuses about why they don't want to sign him. And here's the reality. You don't want to sign him because he took a knee, and that's fine. That's your right as a team. I disagree with it. But just leave the guy alone and don't come up with these sham workouts, because it's really pointless.
Right. No, it's insulting, actually, to everybody's intelligence. Have an offensive line coach doing cocaine. They can have players that beat women. Anything and everything can go on in this league, and it just gets swept under the rug, and it moves on. We had women wearing Ray Rice jerseys saying "Free Ray Rice." Okay, that's all you need to know about how twisted we are as a society about the sport of football, because Lord knows where you're at, it's high school, college, and the NFL are kings.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, we understand what this is about. This is about the anthem and all that kind of stuff, and this is why he's not in the league. Greg Hardy got a job. Remember,
Yeah.
I mean, guys have done a lot of things. There was a player, his name slips my memory. He was charged with manslaughter because he was intoxicated and he killed somebody, and he got a job. It happened 2 or 3 times in this league. So these, the NFL they contradict themselves in terms of character and all those kinds of things. There were all kinds of red flags about Aaron Hernandez when he was in Florida. Yeah. The Patriots ignored it. They drafted him, and look what happened. So you will draft who you want to draft, but for whatever reason, this guy is toxic. And as I said, this workout on Saturday in Atlanta is a sham. They're almost forcing them to do it, and it's sad, really.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's just too funny that people are buying some of this hook, line, and sinker when this is just a dog and pony show, and the league plays everybody like a violin, and we allow it, and as fans fall for it, and it's just again, it's really amazing how nothing sticks to this league. It doesn't matter what it is, dude. Nothing sticks. Their power is super impressive overall. Cowboys, you like them against the Lions this week on the road?
Oh yeah, I do. Now, I would say if the Lions had Matthew Stafford, and we're not sure if they're going to have him or not, I'd be interested to see if he does practice today. He didn't yesterday. Yeah, I think it's a tougher game because Driscoll missed a couple of throws in that Bears game last week that I thought if they had Matthew Stafford, maybe the Lions could win that game, or there's a lot more. They were pretty competitive in that. It was an ugly game. But no, I definitely got to take the Cowboys on the road here because they're the better team, especially offensively.
Well, hey, dude, what about the line? The Cowboys have a bunch of injuries. What's going on with all the guys on the line?
Lyle Collins did not practice on Thursday, but they're okay. And Connor Williams, this is a second-round pick who is underachieved, so they're going to put a veteran in his spot at left guard, Xavier Sirafulo, who played really well at the end of last year when Colin Williams was hurt again in his rookie year. So I'm not too concerned about the O-line. They still have the left tackle, Tyler Smith, one of the best in the business. They still got Zach Martin. He's got a little elbow, but I'm not too concerned about it. Amari Cooper, I'm concerned about because he's playing with a busted knee, basically a bruised knee. He's got an ankle issue. He's got a heel issue, all kinds of things. So I'm a little more concerned about him than anything else. But the Cowboys are still a better team than the Lions.
Did you enjoy the back and forth with Skip Bayless and Zeke's mom?
I read about it on Twitter. I didn't really see the actual, what he said. I read about it on Twitter and I saw it. I think it's kind of cute. It's interesting to me how all these parents respond so much to what people in the media are saying. I don't ever remember that when I first got into this business, and I think social media has given parents more of an outlet to say, "Hey, I disagree with what you're saying about my son." Whereas before, we as reporters said, "We don't care what you got to say because you're the one that's not playing."
Right.
But because they have a voice or a venue to express themselves, we have to take notice of it. So it's interesting that she did, and I really like her. She's a really smart lady. But I'm surprised she did respond that way to Skip.
Well, because Skip threw the jersey in the trash is what he did. He is. He was unhappy with Zeke's performance, so he threw it in the trash, and she flipped out. But that's also the change as parents too, Cal, because you and I and people that are of our age and older, we grew up in a different era where you weren't coddled as much. We coddle our kids like crazy now, and that's why our millennials are what they are nowadays, and they whine a lot and they complain a lot because they're so used to being babied and taken care of by us, and our parents were way harder on us. So it's one of those things that as parents we have tried to make the lives of our kids too easy sometimes, whereas our parents. Our parents were constantly challenging us and making us do things that were harder because they kind of knew how rough things were. You know what I mean? It's a different way of raising kids. That's what it is.
Oh, yeah, they had this back in 1952 or whatever it was. And I was like, well, But, yeah, it's a generational thing. That's what it is. I'm sure there's a generation that will think that my generation wasn't as tough. And now that we're adults and have kids or whatever, we're thinking our kids are not as tough. So it happens. It's a generational thing.
It's a cycle, baby. It's a cycle, no doubt. Follow my man on Twitter at Calvin Watkins. Catch his work at the Dallas Morning News. Cal, as always, man, thank you so much. Drinks on me at the Combine or at the Senior Bowl when I see you. All right?
Yeah, so I appreciate you, man. Proud of you guys, man. Proud of you, bro.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, baby. Appreciate that. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Calvin Watkins, man. Good people. Covering the Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News.
I got to say, it's got to be a pretty interesting job because of how Jerry loves to be like the National Enquirer.
Yeah.
It's all about the soap opera life. And
being a writer on the Cowboys beat is delicious.
You got to have 30, 40. You got to have
you have 40 slices of pie every day.
I was going to say, the way
share.
We always have all this material on the floor that we leave on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
They've got to have a whole bunch of stories that they don't get a chance to even get to.
Best beat there is in the NFL is the Cowboy beat.
Like that, huh? Just that simple.
Yeah, because you get the drama, it's the Cowboys, it's a worldwide brand.
America's team.
It's America's team, and it's a worldwide brand, the Cowboys. It's a brand, dude. It's a major freaking brand. And he sells it and presents it that way. Stadium, everything.
Oh, man.
It's all Texas.
King of the Hill. Hank Hill was.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, there wouldn't be an episode that they didn't mention the Cowboys, practically.
Right, exactly. It's the Cowboys, man. Whether you're a Cowboy fan or not, you have to admit it. It is a brand. You like them or you hate them. The Yankees, biggest brand on the planet. It's a brand. The Lakers, a brand. Celtics, a brand. It's just one of those things, and the Cowboys are one of those. And they have all the titles. I know that under Jerry they got them early, and then they had the other ones from the Schramm and Landry crew and all that. But they have their titles to go with it. I know that it's been more fluff lately. Although these teams here, this Cowboy team here, let me tell you something. It would be a crime if this Cowboy team does not celebrate a championship in the next couple of years. Because if you're a Cowboys fan, this is a great group of talent that you have.
It's not from a lack of effort and trying to assemble.
It's just a matter of getting it all together and having the right coach, but they have the talent. It's like your stinking Bears. If they don't find a quarterback, it's a crime that you're going to allow that. The Jags, that window's closing. In another year or two, you're not going to say they're a quarterback away anymore because they're going to lose. They already lost Jalen Ramsey. How many more people are you going to keep losing? And as you keep losing those players, you keep losing how special that defense is. Window closes. Jets, those 2 years they made it to the AFC Championship game, little did they know that was their window. And when it closes,
man, it's quick.
It's over.
Today, it goes like back in the day, you'd have at least 5, 6, in 7 years. Now
it's over.
Man, it could be a year.
Seattle had that, or 2, and you're done. Seattle had that chance for that second title, and then the window closed.
Yeah, that was it.
It was over.
Yep.
And they got old, and they all wanted money, and you couldn't keep everybody. And the same thing that happens to every team.
You know what? They were talking about Atlanta.
Except for the Patriots.
Atlanta, the Falcons, they were talking about them being the next team. They have totally fallen off
No,
the
that's
map.
it. No, that window closed already.
It's gone.
That's it. That 25-point loss that you gave, that 25-point lead that you gave up and lost, that ended your window. And it was done. And the Cowboys have a window going on right now. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I could give a rat's ass about the Cowboys. But I'm the first guy to be objective about anything, and the Cowboys have a Super Bowl-type team with the right coach. Even Dak Prescott can win you a Super Bowl. With that running game and that defense, hells to the you can. I've seen worse quarterbacks. Peyton Manning is 1,000 times worse than Dak Prescott. I'm talking about the Peyton Manning, the one with the Broncos. That's the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl. The Cowboys have enough for a Super Bowl. They don't have the quarterback, they don't have the coach, so they're done. They have no shot. But that's a shame if they lose out on that window. And it happens all the time. You've got to take advantage of it. The cap only over every year the way they've done it and the way, but they're so good at what? They don't hang on to players. They get rid of you, man. They keep you around for a couple years. They'll keep a couple of guys around. They'll keep Brady around. They'll keep Hightower around. They'll keep Chung around. They'll keep a couple of guys. But everybody else?
They kept Teddy Bruschi around for a while.
But they'll weed you out, dude.
Oh, yeah. You're in, you're out.
Yeah, they know.
The only guys...
They won't allow their team to get to a point where everybody wants to get paid, and then they're screwed, and then they got to shut down.
By and large,
just
the only position that is stated is offensive line. The offensive linemen
they rotate
are
that
more...
too.
No, but they're more apt to stay than any other
No,
location.
they'll get rid of you too, bro.
They
No,
will.
Logan Mankins and the guy that plays for the Giants now, they get rid of guys. Woody, whatever, that went to Detroit, they will get rid of you when they have to get rid of you. They do not hang on to you at all. They just don't. They're the only ones that are able to do that. They have a system and a scheme and a way that they replace players, and it just works out. But everybody else, it's, I got to pay Flacco, we're done. I got to pay Russell Wilson, we're done. Eventually, you have to pay people after you have success. And look, the Minnesota Vikings, they have a Super Bowl team. And it's up to Zimmer and Cousins to kind of get them over the top. Because their running game, the kid's healthy this year. And when he's healthy, he's one of the best in the league. And that defense is loaded. But eventually, you got to pay all that defense. And you're going to start losing those guys. And that'll come this offseason, starting this offseason with Minnesota. Because that quarterback, you gave him a guaranteed $90 million. And you're paying him $30 million a year.
Dallas, not being a Dallas fan, obviously, when they do lose, when they take one on the chin, do you not snicker and laugh just a little bit?
Well, yeah, no, of course, because it's always overhyped crap with them.
Yes.
That's the problem with Dallas. That's the
I take
issue.
great joy in them taking it on the chin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm with you, dude. All the way. I take total pride.
You know,
in that.
the older Dolphin fans, and my dad being there at Rice Stadium back in the day on those wooden bleachers watching a Super Bowl, if you can imagine, Super Bowl VI, when they got beat by Dallas. And I think at the time, the Dolphins were the only one to not score a touchdown up to that point. We lost 24-3, I think it was, to Dallas in Super Bowl VI. And that's when the Dolphin fan hate for Dallas because of that Super Bowl loss.
Well, but that was
it is a long,
that was a doomsday defense.
Yes.
That was a great.
Well, remember Dallas had lost.
Yeah.
Dallas had lost
The
and
year-
not won Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it was Landry needed that Super Bowl for himself too. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. And remember, he's fresh off a couple of years of being embarrassed by the AFL team before they left out of town too.
Right.
Because at that time, the Hunt family was embarrassing them with the Dallas Texans because they were the better team for several years, better than the Cowboys. The Cowboys were the bad team, and they were in the NFL, which the NFL had all the money compared to the AFL. And so that championship for
Yeah.
Landry was huge in so
Yes.
many ways. But again, losing to those Cowboys was not an embarrassment because that was a great team.
Oh, yes.
That wasn't, it wasn't just a fly-by-night team. That was a hell of a
No,
Dallas
they're-
Cowboy
God,
team.
what do they have? 6 Hall of Famers
Yeah.
on that team? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that era with Miami and Dallas and the Steelers during the 70s, those were...
You could throw in the Raiders there.
And the Raiders, too. Yeah, the Raiders, too.
The
They were-
Minnesota Vikings
Yeah, they
went
didn't
to
win with 3 with Tarkenton and 1 with Cap. Yeah, no doubt. It was Bud Grant, the poor man, who's a great man. I think he's still with us also. In fact, I think Bud Grant had a garage sale about a year ago.
You know
that
what?
was in the news.
That's the last thing I saw, man.
That had to have been one of the greatest garage sales of all
You know how
time.
cool that is to be that big, that famous, and just be out in the front yard selling your stuff.
Yeah, but
Come and
that's
meet
like-
Bud Grant.
That's
you know,
like going to Don Shula's garage sale. Like, holy crap. I want to buy anything in that garage. It's Shula's garage.
you got an old shoelace laying around from a, maybe a
Bud Grant's garage, and for a
broken
Vikings
golf,
fan, it's
broken golf club. You
anything,
know?
anything. It's Shula's. It's a shoehorn. I don't care. It's Shula's shoehorn from his garage. I'll buy it. That's how it'll be. And anything you buy from that garage, you will frame. Doesn't matter what it is. Why are you framing that roll of toilet paper? Dude, I bought that from Shula's garage. Okay? He had a roll of toilet paper in his garage. And then your buddy Dolphin will go,
The trash can
That's
that was
it.
in the toilet,
That's it.
in the bathroom.
That's all.
This is the
Shula's
freaking
trash can.
garbage can from the bathroom at Shula's
No,
house.
don't throw anything in there, bro. Are you crazy? That's Shula's. Don't touch that. But it's a garage. It's a garbage can. No. It's Shula's garbage can. Don't touch it, bro. What's wrong with you? That's how you would be. That's how a Vikings fan would be with a Bud Grant garage sale. Anything. Doesn't matter. It's a Fleetwood Mac tape. It's Bud Grant's Fleetwood Mac tape. That's the key there.
Do you know that we've gone through another hour?
I'm not surprised.
And actually, we got to get moving because we have Mr. Richmond Webb.
Who used to move a lot of people in the NFL when he was the left tackle for the Miami Dolphins, and especially for Dan Marino. Richmond Webb, the great one, joins us next.
Plus tax tag title. It includes $8.99 dealer fee on approved credit. Offers end 11/10/19.
Over 1,500 Toyotas are on the ground, and truckloads of new 2020 Toyotas just keep on coming. To eliminate all 2019 models, Toyota of Hollywood is holding the ultimate 2019 model year changeover event. Make us an offer, any offer, and you can buy a Toyota at up to 50% less than their original MSRP when new and used.
50% less.
A pre-owned 2019 RAV4, not $30,000, $19,775. A pre-owned 2019 Camry LE, not $26,000, $17,775. A pre-owned 2019 Corolla LE, not $22,000, $12,775. Pay up to 50% less at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer, based on total retail sales of new Toyotas in the Southeast region for 2014 to 2018 per SET, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Thinking about buying or refinancing a home? Act now. Home values are ticking up. Don't put off making a move any longer. Call Michael Kodzie now at Choice Mortgage Bank, 561-441-2730, while mortgage interest rates are still at historical lows. Call now to get pre-approved and buy your dream home. If you're currently paying over $800 a month for rent, call 561-441-2730 now before interest rates go up. Down payments as low as 3.5%. Veterans may qualify for no money down. If you own a home, but you're upside down, Michael Kodzie can help. If you're being denied by your bank or your loan process is taking too long, call 561-441-2730. Act now while fixed rates are still under 3.5%. Offices in Boca and Boynton Beach. Rates and terms subject to change daily without notice. Equal housing lender. NMLS 122081.
All right, welcome back.
This is the Big O Show.
Boy, these long breaks, huh? Hold like 60 seconds. Anyway, welcome back. And we promised you that the great Richmond Webb would be kind enough to join us. As a beat reporter, I used to bother Richmond Webb every single day, him and Keith Sims in the locker room, ask him all kinds of stupid questions, and they just say, kid, get away from me. But he is kind enough now to join us and talk a little Miami Dolphins football. Did I bug you way too much?
No, you was good. How you doing, Big O?
I'm doing great, man. I can't complain. I'm doing better now. I'm telling you, since they put Chris Greer in place, because I wrote last year in The Athletic, and I said it on radio. I said, get rid of Gase, get rid of Tannenbaum, and please put Chris Greer in place, because he's been back there behind the scenes waiting for his opportunity. Nobody ever listens to him. Nobody ever does anything with him. And finally, I'm seeing a real football guy take over. What do you think?
Oh, no question. With him, Coach Flores, the way they're doing it, I think they got the right people in place. And, what I would always try to tell fans is, just be patient. If we can get through this year, we're going to be good, but we're going to build it the right way. We're not going to just keep guys because we drafted them. If they don't work out, we let them go. So I'm happy thus far, and now it's starting to pay dividends. You see where early in the season we're not making as many penalties, and you're also seeing that where we'd always play good the first half and kind of lose it the second half, now we're starting to finish games, and the guys are always giving great effort. So I'm looking forward to it. I think we're in a great position right now.
Yeah, hey, listen, Richmond, I love the way they're building it, how they tore it all the way down, because this is called a rebuild. It's not called a tank. All right, because I keep telling people, if you're actually resetting the team so you can spend the money and the picks, that's not called tanking. That's called resetting the team and rebuilding it. But whatever. Okay, tanking is Mike Brown in Cincinnati that doesn't spend like he should. Tanking is Jeffrey Loria with the Marlins that never really tried. Tanking is Donald Sterling when he owned the Clippers. That's tanking, that you're never really going all out to win. The Dolphins have always gone all out to win. They may not have done things the right way, but they're always going all out to win. That's the part that frustrates me that people don't see.
Yeah, people don't see, and then I see what a lot of people, even with that, and even after we won a couple games, I've seen people say, "Well, we don't need to win anymore because we need the first pick in the draft." I'm like, if we just need to pick the right three people in the draft. You can pick the first guy in the draft, and he turns out to be a bust. So you just want to do your due diligence go through the process, and select the 3 guys that's going to produce and come in and make it a better football team. So, hey, if we went all the way out and we still got 3 picks and we get the right 3 guys at the right positions to help turn this franchise around, that's what's important.
Here, Richmond, this is what I want you to explain because you've been in the locker room and you've done this. Now, I've been in the locker room covering you guys. So this is the part I don't understand, especially when it comes from the media, because it's really some stupid-ass crap. Well, okay, well, the team should tank and not try. Oh, the team shouldn't win. The fact that they're winning now is amazing for next year. I try to tell people, what do you think? Players are going to hang around and not try and maybe even get injured along the way and just lose games? And then next year, what do I do this? What are they supposed to say? Oh, well, last year we didn't try. We were tanking. That's the importance of winning, Richmond. Explain to people that the guys that are having success now, they are the foundation to teach the guys next year that come in, this is how we do it in this culture. It's kind of like what the Miami Heat have been doing for 20-plus years with Pat Riley. Every new player that comes in is taught not only by coaches, but the old players that are there, hey, this is how we do things. That's why it's important to establish this year.
No question. And that was how it was when I came in. You know, Marino, Duper, and Clayton were the guys that stood out in the offensive huddle. And it was already, they already had the discipline, the reputation of what the expectations were. Coach Shula was there, so the coaches not only reinforced it, but the veteran players that were there. And so it was an expectation from the time you got drafted, not just to say I'm in the NFL, but, you're part of an organization or franchise that's known for winning and one of the winners franchises, not only in football, but throughout all sports organizations. So the bar was set high, and either you had to perform, jump in, or you wasn't going to be there very long. And that's the way it's going to be now. And I take my hat off to those guys that it's no fun going out losing. That's what I try to tell people. Nobody wants to just go out and say, oh, we're going to play good the first half, and then all of a sudden now we're going to just let the other team win. I mean, anything, you feel better when you win than when you lose. And it really works on your mental, just like winning does, losing does. So for these guys to go out, give the effort they have week in, week out, and now it's starting to pay dividends. Now they truly believe, and they're not going to want to go back to what they were before. So, like I said, they're in a good position, but I think people just don't understand. They really don't mean no harm, but they say stuff, and you be like, do you really think it works that way? But it really doesn't.
No, hey, listen, it's, oh, no, they're going to trade Tunsil anyway because they're already drafting 2, and they're worried about a right tackle. It's like, do you really think that, like, a GM is back there going, yeah, no, we'll get rid of Tunsil because we know we're getting Tua next year and a right tackle. It's like people play fantasy football. They think that that's how life works in the real world, and that's just not the way it goes. It's really fantasy to think that players will quit because the film is their resume. I mean, so the guys that aren't on this team next year, they're at another team, and the GM rolls the tape and says, hey, so what happened on this play and this one and this one? Oh, they told me to quit there in Miami. Oh, really? Okay, great. Here's the door. Get the hell out of here. We don't want you here. I mean, it's really amazing to think that players are just going to quit and teams are going to quit and that Chris Grier is sitting up there going, okay, let me sign the worst players possible so we can lose. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then to get all, 53 guys to buy into, okay, this is the game plan. So when you lay it out on, Wednesday or whatever, say, we're going to make it look good for a couple of quarters and then we're going to just turn it around. It doesn't make sense. And just like the players, coaches are, they want to keep coaching. So in the event that they get another opportunity, they're going to be like, well, you guys, you couldn't, either you wasn't a good offensive line coach or receivers coach or running back. All that plays in the part. So it's not just the players, it's the coaches too. So I just kind of laughed and I just said, I just chalk it up as people, they're trying to make sense out of something that don't really make sense because they hadn't thought it all the way through.
Richmond, here's the other thing. You touched on it a little bit there. This team has got to love Brian Flores, right? Because there's no way you get your ass kicked in the first 2 games as bad as they did, and then week 3 you get better. Week 4 you got better. Week 5, every week you got better to the point now that you're winning games. That tells me that those guys, through all this adversity, they believed everything that guy was selling.
Yeah, and if you didn't believe it and you wasn't happy, he did his best to get you out of there. And I think what people are going to realize is that it's going to be about the team first. It's not going to be we might have great individual players, but it's not going to be about so-and-so and what's best for the team and how can we go out and execute and win. And if you're not buying into that, you're not going to be there long. So that's what I see, and that's the way he's building it. And the guys that's there have bought into that system. And there were certain guys that, wasn't happy, and all of a sudden you'd be like, whoa, they traded somebody else. I was like, I said, hey, man, this guy ain't playing around. He said, we got to rebuild it anyway, so we might as well get you out of here if you're not happy. So, yeah, you're right.
Richmond, there's been gradual improvement on the offensive line. What have you seen? Who has stood out to you? What do you like from certain guys?
Overall, I think they've all played. I thought they all played exceptionally well. It was a few games ago. I'm gonna tell you what really stood out to me was I think Michael Dieter is the left guard, and I think the tackle went down or whatever. It was a few games back, and he had to shift out to left tackle. And I don't think a lot of people know how tough it is to go. Your pass set is a little different. You got wider rushers, speedier guys, this and that. That took the challenge. Didn't look like he was, pounding or fretting. I'm like, why me? His attitude that this is what we got to do. Went out and fought in battles and gave effort and this and that, and ended up playing pretty decent for just having to move out there in the middle of the game with no reps or nothing at tackle like that. So that guy really stood out. But overall, as a unit, they worked hard together and they battled. It hadn't always been pretty, but I don't see guys quitting out there. So that's what I look for.
So Dieter, to you, Richmond, looks like a keeper as a draft pick. You think that guy's turning into a winner as a third-round draft pick?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a keeper. Yeah, I think so.
And by the way, doesn't it remind you of what Mark Dixon had to do what was it? Did you get injured or did you leave to Cincinnati when he had to fill in for you?
I left and went to Cincinnati, and then I think Brent Smith was the tackle, and he got hurt.
And he got hurt. That's right.
They bumped, and then they bumped Dixon out there, which but Dixon I think had played left tackle in Canadian football, and he also played I think at the University of Virginia. So, and he did a very, very good job out there. So,
hey, dude, you and I know Mark Dixon was a freak athlete. Okay, I mean that guy could tomahawk dunk. All right, that's how nasty that guy was as an athlete. I mean that guy, his technique. Do you remember Richmond? His technique, how he could lock guys in, was so good, man.
Yeah, but I think that's what made him so good. He really worked and honed his skills on being a technician, and when it was guys much bigger than him, he would get position on them, and that would enable him to maneuver them because he wasn't very big. I think Dixon might have been 280 maybe.
Right.
But I mean, he was strong, but he just knew how to maneuver. And most guards in NFL are probably 315, 320, 325. So for him to be that small and be that efficient and be one of the better guards in the league at the time, he didn't get the recognition, but he was definitely very good.
Oh, he was a hell of a player. Although, after every game, you'd walk up to him, he'd tell you he sucked. He felt like he was getting cut every game. He was so hard on himself. It was amazing. That guy never gave himself a break. I don't know if you remember that about Mark Dixon.
Yeah, and I think that's what he needed to. He was never satisfied, so that's how he was able to go and perform at a high level. And if he kept that attitude, he would never get complacent and say, well, I'm really balling and get comfortable. So he never allowed himself to. That was his motivational, I guess. He did the opposite. But yeah, he played pretty good, but you're right. He'd be like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be here next week. I'd be like, bruh.
Yeah.
Come on, man, stop that.
Yeah, we would all look at him like, yeah, sure, Mark. We just watched you, dude. Yeah. You kicked ass today. Give me a freaking break. You were awesome. Let me ask you something, because covering you every day during your career, you were a quiet guy. You didn't really get into controversies. You were again, very quiet and kept to yourself. You have kind of blossomed into a social media guy. You're interacting with fans. I saw you at a fan event. What changed in Richmond Webb that became a little bit more outgoing? Because you were kind of, what was it, the football? You just wanted to keep away from us media guys? What was it that's changed with Richmond Webb now?
I do a little bit on social media, but again, even when I interact with people on social media, and there's a lot of people that's negative, and I understand, because the Dolphins hadn't been really good in a while.
Yeah,
I try to find a positive spin to put on it, even though I'm interacting with them. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I see it. I see it.
And I try to let people know, look, I hear what you're saying, but we can't look at it. We can't look at it that way. So. And most of the fans are pretty good, and but I don't never want to get into one of those Twitter battles where people going, that's not me. I won't do that. But I do like interacting with the fans, and I think the fans kind of appreciate when they can interact with former players that played the game. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, it's kind of cool. So, and I'm a fan now, so I just kind of consider I'm a fan too. So I just try to blend in with those guys, but. That's kind of hard for me being as big as I am, but I still try to do that.
Yeah, because you and I know that the old Richmond Webb, if Twitter existed, you would have never touched that stuff back in the day. That wouldn't have been that would have never been your style back in the day. You wouldn't have been tweeting.
No. If I was still playing, yeah, I probably wouldn't be tweeting. It's just you put something out there, and if it's misconstrued or somebody interpreted something totally different, it can turn. You'll be all on ESPN, and I don't need that type of drama. But I'm not in that lane anymore, so I can jump out there a little bit now.
So what are you thinking this week? Is it win number 3 against the Bills? Hey, listen. This past week when I saw that Hoyer was starting, I was like, I felt really good. I told Bill, my producer, I said, man, I like this game. I'm not afraid of Hoyer. And Brissett has played really well, and he's been really efficient. So that kid, I was afraid of the way he's developed. But Hoyer, I wasn't. And this kid, Allen, if you can control what he does with his legs, I'm not sure he can beat you with his arm.
Yeah, I think that's the key, because matter of fact, I think I was at the Bills game last year, and I was really impressed how he was able to make plays with his legs. You're right. If you can keep him contained and force him to throw the football, I think you got a much better, higher percentage chance of winning the football game. So I'm sure the coaches have kind of studied that and done that, and I'm sure they're gonna come up with a good game plan. So that would be really nice if we could get the Jets and the Bills. I'm telling you, that'd be real good.
Oh, yeah. Because they're worried about a draft, and you want the Jets to beat you. I mean, that's impossible for me to ever accept anything. First of all, I'm not into tanking. I wasn't into the suck for luck thing in the first place, and I'm not in for tanking now either. I've been in locker rooms, man. I know how you guys think. You can't do that. That stuff doesn't exist. No. That just doesn't play, man. Coaches or players, if
you really think about it, I think we got 15 picks next year in one draft. So I say if we get half of them right, that's going to make a tremendous impact on the team. Yes. If we just get half of them right, you know what I'm saying? If we just get half of them right. And I don't think people think about that. So I think we got 3 firsts, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So I'm gonna tell you what it kind of reminds me of, but it's almost like when Coach Jimmy Johnson took over the Cowboys and they traded Herschel Walker,
right?
And he got like 14 picks, but I think that was over a couple of years. This is like on steroids or got a turbo behind it on a big engine that all of them are lumped into 1 year. So it's like, oh, they didn't play well last year, but next year, I'm telling you, it's probably going to shock some people. So I'm looking forward to it.
Not only that, Richmond, think about this. It's not just the draft, okay? He finds Preston Williams in street free agency, Mark Walton in street free agency. He gets Sam Eguavoen out of the CFL. We have a front office that is not just unearthing players. Taco Charlton off the waiver wire. It's not just about the draft. It's like Jimmy did. I'm going to find Oronde Gadsden. I'm going to find Mark Dixon. We have a front office. They have cap space, right? They were creative with it, with Robert Quinn, with Ryan Tannehill, with what was the last one that they got another draft pick out of it? Was it the Kenyon Drake one? I mean, these are things.
Yep, that was the last one.
Right. They're using their drafts, their cap space to get draft capital. They're using free agency to improve their team. They're using trades to improve their team. They're trying in every way possible of finding talent, and they're finding it in different places. So it's not just those 15 picks next year. It's everything else they could also find in other places. Because if you can find a Preston Williams, who, man, this kid might turn out to be a number 1, number 2 wide receiver for you. If you can
that's number 18. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah, you find that in street free agency? Are you kidding me, man? I mean, that's what makes me feel good about the Dolphins' future now.
And I learned this about, Coach Flores. They say he kind of did everything, but he's worked on the scouting side and he's worked on the coaching side. So he doesn't necessarily have to just rely on the scouting department. He can put on the tape of film and say, okay, he already knows what to look for, how to evaluate players, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And like you said, picking up some of those guys, adding the pieces where you are. And a lot of times, it's not that a player's not good. They just didn't know how to use him to his strengths or weaknesses in another system. And you pick up that guy and you say, okay, I know how we can maximize his talent. And they'd be like, wait a minute, this guy, he couldn't hardly make the team over here, and now he's a superstar down in Miami. So I think you're going to see more and more of that. I agree. It's not just the draft, but free agency and knowing how to go and acquire veterans and, they looking everywhere. It's not just saying we're going to do it one way, but they're exhausting all resources and efforts to find these type of players to build it the right way.
Hey, not a superstar, but an impactful player for Miami in helping out, Vince Beagle. He was a backup in New Orleans, a special teamer. They bring him here, and they use him as a pass rush specialist. And the guy's gotten to the quarterback a bunch of times, a bunch of QB hits. He's helped out in a big-time way. That's like these kind of things. I, as a draft guy, as a personnel geek, I don't overlook this kind of stuff. And to me, here's the other thing. You just mentioned it. Here's Chris Grier. This shows you how good this guy is. He doesn't have an ego because he goes and he hires Reggie McKenzie, who was phenomenal in Oakland. He brings in Marvin Allen, who was phenomenal in Atlanta and Kansas City in personnel. And then his first coaching hire is a guy that also knows personnel in Brian Flores. So he puts his ego aside to bring the best people he thinks possible for his football team to make them better, because he's not sitting there going, I'm going to make all the decisions, I'm going to pick all the players. No, he knows Brian Flores can help him out, he knows Marvin Allen can help him out, and he knows Reggie McKenzie has a world of experience. That's why I keep telling people that this is not the same old Dolphins. The front office has changed, and it's going to get, and people are going to be surprised over the next couple of years. And watch this, Richmond. There are going to be other people that are going to tear down their teams the way Miami did. It's not going to be.
Oh, no, of course.
You'll see. They're going to do this kind of a rebuild. You'll see.
Yep, I agree. Like you say, if you get the right people in the front office, and you get people that want to work together rather than worried about their ego or who gets credit for this or that, and it's all about winning, that's the way you want to build it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Follow Richmond, by the way, on Twitter. He is active on Twitter at Richmond Webb. What's the next Dolphin event that you're going to outside of a game? Is there one out there that fans can see you at? Just out of curiosity, I don't know if you have any plans.
Yeah, I'm in Houston. Yeah, normally it's when I come down to a game. Thinking about coming down to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I think that's in.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Yeah, hopefully I can find something to do while I'm down there. But other than that, that's it.
Are you going to Vegas for the draft?
I thought about, I did the draft. I was fortunate the Dolphins asked me to do the draft in Nashville, and we had a really good time. So I'm thinking about going out to the draft in Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we got a bar. It's called Tommy Rockers, and it's going to be a Dolphin draft bar. We're going to have about 300 Dolphin fans. We're going to be broadcasting all 3 days there. I'm going to be broadcasting the whole draft there, all the picks. So you are welcome to come by for a couple of minutes and sit down with us there in Vegas with a couple of hundred Dolphin fans and enjoy a little bit of the draft if you're out there during the weekend, all right?
Okay.
All right. So we'll have some fun out there.
That sounds good.
That's going to be great, man, to be in a room with 300 Dolphin fans. And that draft, we're going to own Vegas, Richmond. I mean, Aqua and Orange is going to be all over Vegas because all I hear is Dolphin fans saying, I got my plane ticket. I got my room. I'm ready to go. The Dolphin Nation is going to be strong in Vegas, big time.
Yeah, we might better take some T-shirts and stuff out there so we can give some other people some chances to jump on the bandwagon.
Exactly. Yeah. No, definitely. We're gonna have some special T-shirts made for it also, and we'll have some fun with it. Richmond, thank you for taking some time. You've always been a class act. Thank you for joining us on the show here. I'm sure we'll do it again down the line, and hopefully we'll see you live in Vegas.
Sounds good, Big O. You have a good day. Thanks for having me on your show.
You got it, man.
All right.
Be good. There you go.
Yep.
The great
All right.
Richmond Webb joining us here on the show. It's always good to have Richmond on, man. Love having Richmond on. He is an absolute class act. Just one of those guys. Now, you knew that if there was a controversy or something, Richmond wasn't going to get involved in it. Okay, so you weren't going to go to sound bites to get for him on that. But I'll tell you what I love about Richmond Webb, not just a human being, because anybody that knows Richmond Webb knows he's a phenomenal human being. But what I loved about Richmond was the class he carried himself with every single day. And if it was a good moment, it was easy to interview him. If it was a bad moment, when the team didn't play well, it was easy to interview him. And that's not easy to say. There's a lot of guys that struggle. And they are in this state of depression. And they are pissed off and moody and things like that. And you can't do anything about it. Everybody handles it differently. And there are some guys that can compartmentalize and that they're pissed, and internally they're pissed, but externally, at the moment that they have to do their job with you, they will at least be professional and control themselves at that moment in hand, as long as you're being respectful in your questions, too, as long as you're not being some kind of a jerk and trying to stir crap up. But overall, that's what I loved about Richmond. And Keith Sims, his partner in crime, by the way, was the same way. That was a guy that you never had to worry about. Another guy that you would walk in the locker room and handled everything with freaking class. Huge Keith Sims fan also. Those two guys made my life easy. Tim Ruddy made my life easy. Mark Dixon made my life easy. Linemen usually, actually now that I think about it, most in my time, most of the linemen were pretty good. They were pretty good dudes, man, overall. They weren't really the moody bunches. You had it with some other guys. I will say that. But I personally appreciate it because the one misconception that's out there, and I would say, and I would defend most of my media brethren, most, not all, but I think most want to walk into a winning locker room. Most media members hate having to cover a losing locker room. They'll do it, and they got to do their job and whatever, and you get through it, but it is a pain in the ass. It really is. It sucks because it's not fun. It's not. Think about it. In your worst moment, when you have failed in something, and then somebody's walking up to ask you about what happened in your worst moment, and how many times can you tell in your worst moment, you tell your friend or your family member or your loved one, just, I don't want to talk about it right now. And it's not done in public. And you could get away with it. And nobody cares. And everybody says, oh, I understand. But then when the player does it, it's not the same, right? Oh, unprofessional. You got to handle it the right way. But meanwhile, behind the scenes for all of us, we're like, I don't want to talk about this right now. Leave me alone. And you walk away and you leave your cousin, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, grandfather, uncle alone. And nobody finds out about it. But as an athlete, you do it, everybody finds out about it. So it's a twisted thing that goes on. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the show. The other way to, that's the accidentlawfirm.com text line. You can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. And Instagram, it's at Big O Radio Show. That's the other way to reach out to us here on the program. All right. I think we are going to wrap things up here on the show.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've created a new standard.
What, the 4-hour standard?
Yeah, man, or awfully close to it. So.
No, I mean, we're pretty close already.
Yes, we are.
It is 2:35. We're pretty close.
Yes.
I do have a couple things I could talk about.
Do you feel so indulged? I mean,
I could save it for tomorrow.
You know.
Did you see, I doubt you saw this because most people aren't going to see this. Did you see the story from Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi?
Look, we're all not like you, Sue Bird babe, okay, guy? I remember the way you associated that. It's like a little combination back in the day.
Yes.
Can't say that I do know about Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird.
You know that
story.
Okay, you know that women's basketball obviously does not produce a lot of money in this country, and so they don't get paid and all that, and so they have a problem with all of that, which I have a problem with women not understanding the fact that they don't go to see you. And women don't go to see women. Okay? Women go to football games, but they don't go see women's basketball. Well, as a result of how poorly women are paid to play basketball in America, most of the best professional basketball players in the world head overseas. You got to hear this story, okay? After their WNBA seasons end, athletes can only profit off their talents for so long and need to maximize earnings while their bodies are still at their peak. The maximum salary in the WNBA was just $117,000 for the 2019 season. In Russia, China, and Turkey, among other countries in Europe and Asia, players can make 10 times that amount. Okay? You got to hear this. This is crazy. Circumstances abroad are crappy for most. American players are typically unfamiliar with the countries they're living in, rarely speak the native language, and often need translators to communicate with teammates and coaches. They're usually without friends and have to leave their families for months at a time. Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, it meant playing for the KGB spy-turned-Russian billionaire businessman. In a 30 for 30 podcast, Bird and Taurasi detailed their experience and complicated feelings towards Shabatai Kalamanovich. From a financial standpoint, he was everything the pair wished existed at home. Kalamanovich treated Taurasi and Bird like royalty. and had a real love for women's basketball. He spoiled the hell out of them, paid them multiple times their American salaries, and gave reasons to them to want to return to Moscow each year for the first time since they were stars at the University of UConn. And Bird and Taurasi were treated like the best athletes in the world. Camachi gave Taurasi and Bird the best sides of himself, but they knew there was another side to him. He wore two hats, Bird said. He was a Russian spy for 17 years. He became a wealthy businessman by exploiting cheap labor in South Africa. He was eventually caught for passing forged checks to the U.S. while in England. He was then extradited to America, sent to Israel, where he was arrested for espionage. He served 5 years in prison, was released, then relocated back to Russia, where he grew as a businessman, including becoming the general manager of Spartak Moscow basketball team. That's where Taurasi and Bird starred for 4 consecutive EuroLeague championships, until one day in 2009, Kalmanovich was murdered in a contract-style hit. The only reason you go to Russia is for money, Taurasi said. This is the only reason you leave your country to play in a different country for basketball. While playing for another Russian team, Dynamo, Bird and Taurasi met Kalmanovich, whatever is the guy's name, for the first time in 2006. Taurasi's first season in Russia. She had sworn off ever returning after feuding with the head coach. You don't know Russia the way I can show you Russia, Bird recalled Kalmanovich saying, and he was right. He was well connected, so much during the meeting, he dialed the phone and he had Israeli passports made for Bird as a loophole to a European league rule that prevented teams from signing more than 2 American-born players. He later signed Tina Thompson, too. Then he outlined contracts for Bird and Taurasi, depending on bonuses, and they could make between $400,000 and $1 million. For the first time in their lives, it was life-changing money. It didn't stop there. When the team traveled, he put his players in the best hotel. They recalled a time when a commercial flight was set to leave during the team's game. Kalmanovich called and had it moved back so his team could make the flight. My man stopped the plane from taking off. Bird and Taurasi were provided mini mansions and a pool and sauna to live in. He also left them with his credit card so they can use as they pleased. Well, now I can put up with Russia, Taurasi said. The Spartak Moscow team was really, really good. Taurasi and Bird won 4 EuroLeague titles and 2 Russian Premier League titles. They were paid well, kept well, and treated like men's athletic stars. But there was only half the year. They played 4 months in the WNBA when they hardly made 6 figures and traveled in crappy conditions. You get back to the NBA, you're lugging your crap around, she said getting on terrible American flights at 4:45 a.m., the league prohibits charter flights, and younger players double up in hotel rooms. The pay disparity in treatment between men and women's basketball players is drastic. But then again, the WNBA doesn't produce any money. That's the problem. It's a part that I disagree with the ladies there. This past WNBA season, Taurasi voiced her anger, saying, "We had to go to a communist country to get paid like capitalists, which is so backward to everything that was in history books in the 6th grade. Moscow may have been freezing and snowing, but Taurasi and Bird may not have spoken the language. But Kalmanovich, no matter how friendly and warm was to them, may have had a secret dark past, but at least they were making money and they could live for a long time on." The story goes on, they killed him, all that stuff. But it shows how they went and played for a dirty dude because they had to avoid playing basketball in their country because it doesn't pay. Now, the weird thing is, here's what I want to know, is how does it produce money over there? Are they producing that many fans? TV contracts?
Hey, you got to remember.
Jerseys?
Remember something. The Italian men's volleyball team back in like the late 80s, 90s, each one of those guys was making $1 million to $1.5 million. The men's Italian volleyball team.
Okay. All right. But that's men's.
But this is back
I know, but St. John Smythe or whatever and all those other guys back in when I was a kid.
Yeah.
They were faces. They were guys that they were making money.
No, I'm just saying that the sports over there.
I get it, but
pay.
women.
But even well, that's the thing. They're so sports hungry. Even the women make money.
It must be because how do they make that kind of money when here they cannot?
Well, I mean,
not even close. But look at the crap that they had to put up with in order to make money and to go to Russia.
You do what you got to do, right?
No, I know, but still, man, you know what it is to go
That's
to
some dirty, shady.
Yeah, man,
You're associating with some scary people.
Yeah, and you got to go there to do that. It's a hell of an article. It's an SB Nation. If you want to read the article, and I'm sure you can go listen to the podcast. But I thought it was a fascinating story, man. I mean, isn't that story pretty cool? I mean, that's a hell of a story right there.
Got a little bit of James Bond.
Hey, come on.
International espionage, intrigue.
See the extremes I go to prepare for this, and that was probably going to end up on the floor if he didn't tell me hey, you want to extend it a little bit? And I was like, well, you know what? Because I probably wouldn't. If this rolls over into tomorrow, because tomorrow's Friday, it's like a football Friday, I probably would have left that story. But it is one hell of a story. One awesome story. And good for them that they made the money. But, wow, they had to deal with some dirty stuff. All right, let's wrap it up here. We thank Brian Batko, Steelers beat writer for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. We thank Calvin Watkins from the Dallas Morning News. Richmond Webb, former Dolphins great. Steve Ostrov, of course, out here at Toyota of Hollywood. Herbie Lopez. I haven't seen Herbie here today.
Tony Stampone stopping by.
Tony Stampone did stop by. It's a beautiful thing. We thank Bill, of course. Excellent work by you, sir. We thank everybody that called in on the, text in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line or sent us a tweet or anything like that, or tuned in and sent in a text there on the chat board. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Amazing.
Tomorrow we'll be at Hialeah Park starting off at 1 o'clock.
Come out and have a great lunch.
Maybe we'll start at noon. I don't know.
Amazing food.
Yeah, great food and a great lounge area to hang out with us there at the Veranda Bar and Cafe. So
some
please.
really nice, sweet girls to work there as well.
Man,
I mean,
definitely.
Everybody is absolutely amazing over there.
Definitely. Hialeah Park, great place to come and hang out. Enjoy the show. Would love to meet you. Love it. Thanks to Steve and Herbie out here and all the great people at Toyota of Hollywood. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a great one.
This is the big